Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. It's time for another of these episodes of A Longtime Watcher, First Time Rider. I am, as always, your longtime watcher, King Fest the 95th, joined by my wonderful group of first time writers, Action Shakespeare,
Hello.
B-Drops,
Hello.
and the Oleandic Nonagon.
Salutations.
What's going on, y'all? Episode 59. We're gonna get right into it. We're getting real close to the end of Kuuga here, as we are going to be going through another set of 4 episodes this time. Those are episodes 43 through 46. Those are Reality, original air date December 10th, 2000. Crisis, original air date December 12th, 2000. Archenemy, original air date December 24th, 2000. And then Indomitable, original air date December 31st, 2000.
Man.
But that episode's all the way to the end of 2000, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're getting to the end of the year. When did it start? In January? Have we just been going through all of 2000?
So. I believe so.
I mean, they've kind of reflected that in the show a little, especially as episodes have been going on. It's been getting a lot more winter.
I was kind of curious, or I suppose this kind of clears up the potential of, excuse me, I need to learn how to talk this morning. A case in point.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. And it is 11 p.m. at Black Mesa. But I was going to say that the fact that this has been going for a year makes sense, because we also, a handful of episodes ago, got like a talk of Godai being like, or not Godai, but it was about Godai and how he was, had stayed in place for like 8 months. So I assume that was probably more real time than we initially, or at least I initially thought.
Probably, yeah.
A little bit.
Going back, I did go check episode 1, and sure enough, its original air date was January 30th of 2000.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all right. That's
It really makes you feel like, despite how we do know that there was more production going on before the airing of the show for at least a year or two, it really does feel like another case of they're probably filming this pretty close to release still at this point in time.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe for a second they filmed this a year ahead.
Yeah, I suppose probably not, huh?
Though they might have had at least like a better projection of how they were going to release it, in theory.
I imagine they had a plan.
Yeah. Also, was it snowy in like the first couple episodes? Because I don't think so.
Nah.
They were wearing coats and stuff, though.
They were?
It was end of
January,
January,
heavier coats.
So
okay.
I thought isn't it like snowing very lightly when we introduced Godai?
I could not recall, but I remember him wearing coats.
Okay, I thought I remembered that.
Okay, well there goes my hypothesis of it was summer. They just dressed like it was winter and pretended.
Our brain powers combined. We have sleuthed the case, everyone.
My God. Done it.
We did
speaking of cases, and I can't say sleuthing, sneaking.
Yeah, let's
get
into
I'm sorry.
it. Let's get into the reality of the real world. Kamen Rider Kuuga, episode 43. Gonna just hit you with a little wiki synopsis blurb.
The wiki.
Yeah, the wiki wild. Ichigo goes to support Mika taking part in a flute contest where he gets involved in a hostage crisis in progress.
Yeah, remember that?
This is true.
Remember that flute thing where that was very menacingly being foreshadowed?
Oh my God. I've been terrified since we last watched, since our last recording. I've been thinking of Mika.
Yeah, I had forgot, so my first note is just in scrambled, mostly incoherent or semi-incoherent spelling. Oh God, write the cliffhanger.
Oh, right. We had one of those.
Yeah. It's almost like Kamen Rider Kuuga has a story. Oh my gosh.
Well, a continuing story. What the fuck?
It's so good.
This episode's
up in evil.
Good, but weird.
good but weird, but also hurt my heart so much.
That's fair. I'm a fan of this episode.
Yeah.
I dig that we got to use this episode to do a little bit of kind of end of show character building, especially for Ichijo. As you can imagine from that little synopsis blurb, this episode is a little Ichijo heavy, which is good. We haven't focused on him in a bit.
It's true.
Yeah, he's our sad, serious boy.
He's our sad, serious boy.
And we're all making a note of that.
Out loud to each other. They're so rude about it. They're like, has that guy ever smiled? They're like, you guys are so mean.
I'm in a very stressful time in my life, guys. I'm fighting supervillains. Bro, cut me some slack.
I don't understand the problem.
I smile with my goofy-ass boyfriend in private.
I was stuck in traffic, I don't think you know how it is.
I also think that anyone is bound to look stoic and quiet and mysterious if they're dating Godai.
Yeah, I mean, by comparison.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to some of the notes that I have. Because they're gay.
Yeah, it's true.
Love gay notes.
Can you believe it?
Gay notes.
Wow.
So yeah, let's... Oh, go ahead, please.
I was gonna take it in. Just
take it in?
Of our first we get the fake out because it's like, oh my god, he's coming right at her. He's like, no, hey, you dropped the thing. See ya. I'm off to do something sinister somewhere else.
Which? Oh goddamn.
Yeah.
No, that falls into the themes of the episode. I just realized.
I love themes.
I love
themes.
Episode themes.
Cinema. Also, all the cops love Mika, and they want her to know that.
All of the cops. Listen, everyone loves Mika.
They should.
The new
honestly.
It's
sitcom.
required by law.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
The cops seem eager to adopt anyone within 5 minutes.
A little bit, huh?
We're so lonely.
I think the fact that these cops are sad and wow, themes in cinema, we could just wrap up the entire episode here.
Yep, there you
go.
That's
Yeah,
that's the podcast.
Wow,
See you
real
next
quickly.
time.
Also gay.
Yeah, and
That too,
yeah.
yeah.
the
gay
homosexuals.
Yeah.
It's so gay.
And something about
So
John
gay.
Whiteman.
So sad. Oh, okay. No, never mind. We have to continue to get to that
Yeah,
point.
never mind. We have to actually talk about it.
So, yeah, we have a meeting of these aforementioned characters, and Ichijo has come to see Mika at the flute recital.
He's come to see Mika at the flute recital, and he brought
flowers.
What a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's thoughtful.
I do appreciate that literally all of the cops razz him the exact same way, because he shows up to this flute recital with these flowers, and he runs into an old cop buddy, and he's like, "Oh, don't mind me and what I'm doing. This is the real big news. You finally got a girlfriend."
And he's like, no.
Obligatory
No,
Ichijo getting asked about girls and brushing it off because he's gay bit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the show, everybody.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but yeah, so we get. I really enjoyed the scene of Ichijo and Mika just sitting and talking. It was such a wonderful suite, and we get to learn about Ichijo.
Yeah.
We learn he likes sweets.
Yeah. And he likes Anko, and he likes to eat it out of his sweets before eating the rest of it. He's that freak who sucks the Anko out of the tiny Anko.
I literally wrote down, we both eat food like freaks.
There is also, in that same conversation, Mika says that she likes to take the sweet buns and, rip them in half and, eat the paste first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no, she eats sweet buns like I eat Kit Kats.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
How do you...
Dismantling a Kit Kat is satisfying, though.
Yes.
I'm sorry, wait, are you
He
implying that you
understands.
leave a shell behind, though, and then eat that? Because that's impressive more than anything. That's
I
softer
try
than
my
the insides.
best. I try my best. Usually there's like usually the Kit Kat's in 3 pieces, like 3 layered pieces, and you get to eat the middle bit first, and then try to get the bottom and top bit, and then eat the chocolate.
Okay. That's a little more reasonable.
Okay.
If I was more
it's
powerful,
freak
I
behavior,
would
but
leave
it's
the
a
shell.
little more reasonable. I don't know how you would leave the shell. That's a miracle of engineering if you could just get the chocolate peel it, like just push the wafer out, keep the chocolate perfectly intact.
Ugh, terrifying.
God, sounds like a stand.
I would love to.
Ugh, I can suck the wafer out of a Kit Kat with my stand. What would that stand be called? Good God.
Behold the power of my stand, break on through.
Oh, that's
Excellent.
very good. We've done it.
Oh God, we have to talk about Kamen Rider. It's so much.
We do.
I keep imagining Ichijo sucking the bean paste out of the tie. It's horrible. Like even Godai's like, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Godai just sitting there like, oh, so that's how you do that.
Well, that's different. Okay.
This explains so much all of a sudden.
Man, I think
Huh.
might need to add a 2001st skill.
Yeah, I thought I was doing okay, but maybe need to up the repertoire a little.
There's always something new to learn.
The only thing I know.
We should take the briefest of sojourns.
To the 5
talk
seconds
about
of
what-
Rongi.
Yes, I was going to say, to talk about what literally everyone else is going to be doing this episode, because aside from Godai, most other people are only getting like 1 or 2 blurbs.
Mm-hmm.
So Pol, I think we go there like once or twice, where it's just Pops and oh gosh, what is her name now? Nika? Mika?
No, that's the other one.
No. It's an N name, but I can't
Nana?
remember what. Yes, Nana. There you go. Thank you. Nana and Pops are just working Pol, talking about stuff, shooting shit, wondering how Mika's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The huge.
Huge.
A couple of times in the episode, we cut to what I like to refer to as Godai having a chill day. He's literally just like going around and doing shit.
It's true. He's
Singing with children.
Yeah, he's just hanging out with kids. For the most part.
Yeah. Having a normal one. Good for you, Godai.
That's most of this episode, yeah. It's the most normal day any of these people have had in a year.
And they don't know how to handle
They
it.
truly don't. Like the folks at the police station also have this little moment where they're like talking about the stuff in the cafeteria or whatever. And John Whiteman pulls the haha, we're so alike with Akita.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Jean, I see you.
Yeah, truly.
Every time this stuff happens, I'm so laser focused on John Whiteman's game. Like
Well, please stop staring at him. I'm sure you're throwing him off.
I don't think I am. Not for a single second.
He's a pretty charming white boy, I gotta say.
That's so fair.
Okay, so perhaps others can... I'm not in the position to answer this, but maybe B and Fats are. How devastating is it to have someone like John Whiteman be straight?
I hadn't thought about it, honestly.
Yeah, I'd never considered until now.
It's a bit of a shame. I don't know.
I am not going to say it is devastating so much as I am going to say good for you, straight girls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
they deserve
good
it.
for
So
you.
powerful
Also,
of you.
Yeah,
good for
y'all-
you, single moms.
Yeah, good for
Yeah.
you, single
More
moms.
John
You gotta,
Whitemans out there for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because unfortunately, you may not have Godai. He is already engaged.
Yeah.
But you need a John Whiteman in your life.
The man fully deserving of the guy's the shirt that says "I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad who stepped up."
Who stepped up?
Oh my god, he is.
Yeah.
So true, bestie.
I'm so surprised that we got the Odagiri effect, but we didn't. I forget John Whiteman's actor's name.
Russian name.
It was.
Can't remember.
Michelle something, I think.
No, that's his actual name. What's his actor's name?
Oh God, you're right. What the fuck is his actor's name?
I suppose it's not terribly imperative at the moment, but I feel like there should be more cultural impact because he's such a good guy.
He is, in fact, a supremely good dude. Sergey,
Who are
there
we
we go.
to
That's his
say?
name.
The Sergei Vasilov effect.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there you go.
Who's to say that he didn't shift the perspective of many a Japanese youth at the time?
Yeah, you know. Who knows?
Something about these white boys.
Go
I
white
mean,
boy,
a
go.
real minority over there, truly, so...
Yeah? Japanese women maybe consider minorities.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly,
Okay.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
One-
I endorse this message.
Honestly, yeah. But also, too, now that I think about it, I kind of hadn't thought of it through the lens of, with it being Japan and with it being in the 2000s, having, like, a person who is, you know, hi, Brain, how are you doing? Having a white guy be there is actually, like, kind of valuable representation to be like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. no,
He's
it
there
is.
for, like, the whole show. He's a recurring cast member. They aren't... I mean, he has his cheeky little thing where he speaks English regularly, and I don't mind that whatsoever, but they don't really focus on it. If anything, he sometimes has that stereotype of being the guy who moved to Japan and is in love with Japanese stuff more than Japanese people
A
are.
little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. It's never in a disrespectful way. It's in a, he goes to the diner and he orders the fish and miso soup instead of the
Yeah.
Neapolitan spaghetti, you know?
Yeah.
I think
It's-
it's
And
cute
he
detail.
prefers tea to coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, there is a little bit of, you know, quirks in John's character, but also, like, you look at the rest of the cast and it's just like, okay, that's just how the cast works. It's not
They're
like,
all weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not singling out John.
We're all
in
a little
point.
bit left of center.
Yeah.
Yeah. He fits right in, and it's really just, as much as we don't tend to think of it over here, but it is minority representation. It's cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, John.
We carry you, Jean.
We
And also, you're
appreciate
just
you,
a
Jean.
great guy.
Yeah.
Really,
We
like,
love- the audience claps every time you come into the room.
Every time I am whooping,
literally,
I am
yes.
hollering.
Yeah.
I still remember what I said when we started Kuuga, and messed up that these are kind of finalizing reflective thoughts are almost warranted because we're almost to the end of the series. But
Mhm.
I remember saying I was worried I was going to be a bit of a grouch going into Kuuga because of I wasn't sure if I was ready to let go of Showa sensibilities. And usually it's kind of hard when I come in with that bias. It's kind of hard to sell me on stuff, and specifically the characters, because I wasn't thinking of there'd be too much given what we've got with Ichigo.
Mm.
And so to have that by 43 episodes in, to have that completely change to where I point and clap and like I'm like, I carry you, name X
Mhm.
character is just so wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
They really give us a lot with our supporting cast in Kuuga.
Please indulge all of our interjected sentimentality. We're coming up on the end, so we're full of many feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Truly, if you haven't watched Kuuga at this point, please,
How'd you get
if-
here?
one,
I
how'd
mean,
you get
really,
here?
truly, you
But
really
you-
stuck it out, my man.
too, I feel like you have enough interest in tokusatsu, or at least listening to people talk, that you would probably like Kuuga, because there is tokusatsu elements and people talking there. So, you know.
Like, honestly, I was going to say, if you've gotten this far and you haven't watched any of Kuuga, you're kind of just doing yourself a disservice at this point. Because, like, this is a good show. You're kind of just, missing out for no reason. Yeah, go watch Kuuga.
Truly, we
Talk
appreciate
to us
you
about it.
if you have no interest in Kuuga but still want to watch. But also, I would recommend giving it a try.
Yeah, give it a try.
Hey, have we said Kuuga's good in this season yet?
You just did.
I don't think so. You should
this
be
episode?
sure to mention it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get in our once an episode obligatory Kuuga good. Actually, is the thing.
An episode.
Yeah, we haven't covered like 5 minutes of this episode because we spent 20 minutes saying how good the show is.
Yeah, spent too much time jerking it off.
We've been kind of scattered non-sequentially on this one.
Yeah, no, we've been a bit non-sequential
because most of what we described has been kind of sprinkled throughout the Ichijo plot line, which we've not covered yet.
To that end, I do want to just make a point to real quick check in on our one last brief little smattering of thing that isn't Ichijo this episode, which Shakes mentioned was, what the fuck are the Grongi doing? It's fucking Grongi Prince's turn. He finally gets to play, and he's decided he's gonna fucking change it up. He's gonna do this one a little different, and he's gonna go get a new power in order to do his game. So we're gonna check back on him at a later date and time, probably when he has that power. But for now, it's time to go back to Ichijo.
He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna fuck off for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. He's gonna go do his, Hunter x Hunter training montage out in the woods.
He would like, once he gets his new stuff in order, he would like you to call him the artist formerly known as Prince Grongi.
All right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you the points. So we should talk about, because we've mentioned little spatterings of it, but we should talk about what Ichijo's main plot line this episode is. Ichijo, as we mentioned, is going to this flute concert that Mika is going to be doing. And when he gets there, he can't help but notice the familiar buzzing of police activity. So he goes to be like, "Hey, what's going on, you guys?" And they're like, "Listen, as far as you're concerned, right now, nothing. If there's an emergency, we'll call you." I do like that specifically his like cop friend that he knows from before says, if it hits the fan, you'll know what to do. Or I think it's, if it hits the fan, we'll need you. Yeah, we'll be counting on you. Yeah. There you go. Which, unfortunately, we find that it has in fact hit the fan post his conversation with Mika, which is a nice little conversation between those two where they get to know a little more about each other. We learn why
their freak eating habits.
Yeah, their freak eating habits. We learn why Mika started playing flute in the first place, which is a nice little callback to her whole deal. In that it was her father who encouraged her to start playing flute in the first place. So she's kind of used continuing her flute playing as a way to honor him in his memory, since there's only so much she can do on the sort of research side.
Papa.
It's like a 12-year-old. Yeah.
Love,
poor kid.
Love a 12-year-old that is already honoring the dead.
Yeah.
Through their hobbies.
Have you never? Did you never?
Didn't have one at the time, I don't think.
That's good.
No.
I'm happy.
Yeah, it took me a while.
I'm sorry, let's continue.
But yeah, so we have this nice conversation between them, and now it's time for our cop roofs standoff. So yes, the guy from last episode who shows up disguised as a janitor, he did in fact kidnap the president of the company. We find out that the reason why he did this. Yes, he kidnapped the president of whatever company this is.
Japan.
The reason he did this being, Japan's president. Do you want to name the fucking company?
No,
I'm trying to get through it, motherfucker.
It's the president of Japan.
Sure, you kidnapped the president of Japan because the president of Japan fired him from his job, and he's big mad about it.
He sure is. For a show that has really covered a lot of communication with the human beings that do bad things, the limited number, there has not been a lot of normal human beings doing bad shit. But when they do, there does seem to be a actual human side to them. They really did not want to talk this man down whatsoever. And he didn't seem to have a lot to say himself. I don't know what his plan was.
I don't know if he gave them much of a chance either. He really didn't. Yeah, he definitely kind of seemed to show up for this incredibly half-cocked.
I mean, the gun was fully cocked, but
the gun.
That's all he had.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his full plan was.
It's like,
well,
if you're just gonna kill the guy, then kill the guy. Like, what were you?
Kill him.
Like,
but yeah, what's the plan here?
There was no
He
negotiation.
was taking him hostage, but yeah, there was no negotiation. I don't know what his step 2 was.
Well, like, why did you go to the roof, my man? You had the objective. Why didn't you hold the objective?
Because...
Why didn't you hold the objective? I'm saying this every day.
Every morning I wake up and I log on to Overwatch, and I'm always asking, why aren't you holding the objective?
I'm so sorry you log on to Overwatch.
I was gonna say, there's your problem.
Yeah, well, listen, I just needed the game that was relatable. I don't actually have Overwatch. Please don't cancel me, I swear to God.
Well,
Please.
Please, I beg of you.
Good game. Like League of Legends.
Death.
Damn.
You do play League of Legends.
Okay,
it's true.
fine.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure
this is true.
as soon as this video is out, you too can download Gundam Evolution.
I'll accept that.
For the next 3 months, you can enjoy Gundam Evolution.
For the next 3 months.
Because it's shutting down in November,
comes
sorry.
out before fucking Thanksgiving. Otherwise,
what
you
I'm
get
thankful
no
for
Gundam.
this game.
Yeah, I am. It was a good game. I'm sad it's dying.
I'm also
Yeah.
thankful
I should
for
probably
my
play it
friends
at
in
all.
Kamen Rider Kuuga.
I heard it's good.
It is. It's enjoyable.
It
You should
is.
check it out.
No, I meant
You know what else is
Kuuga.
good? Kamen Rider Kuuga. Yeah.
It's true, it is.
So yeah, really, once we get to the roof, pretty much the rest of this episode is just kind of like us chasing our bad guy. There are
sorry, just during this chase scene,
mhm.
the music caught my ear. It sounds uncannily close to Yell Dead Cell from Metal Gear Solid 2.
there you go.
The fucking Dead Cell theme, and truly making me like go at Hideo Kojima / whoever actually composed the music for Metal Gear Solid 2.
I would not be surprised in the slightest.
I mean, yeah, it's like that's like one of the easiest calls you could make, right?
Yeah.
You telling me this Japanese company might have used a Kamen Rider, might have remixed a Kamen Rider theme?
You telling me
Fuck
that Kojima might have remixed something from a TV show or movie?
What?
Mostly movies. I feel like I don't hear about him
Well-
watching TV as much.
You see, he makes an exception for Kamen Rider Kuuga because it's cinema.
You're right.
Yeah. He's always saying this. Speaking of cinema, there is one little bit of additional cinema we get with Godai, where his day becomes suddenly significantly less cool. We do use this episode to just put a little sprinkling of, hey, final boss is lurking. He's around.
He springs into action. He's like, "Oh, Backstreet's back! I'll fuck you! I'll kill you!"
Yeah. I was gonna say, I actually really like that bit because I think they do a great job of showing just like how terrifyingly powerful this dude is supposed to be.
It's so
because
funny.
Godai gets like the barest hint that he's maybe somewhere and is in the blue suit immediately and up on a roof and like trying to scope him out.
And then
and
he looks at him so hard, he transforms.
Yeah.
He looks at him so hard he gets turned into baby form again.
I would like to think it's like a sonic disruption of Kuuga power, but maybe that's, I don't know.
This is Kuuga senses.
No, You know how in anime, when a powerful guy shows up and they talk about the pressure?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sense of pressure? It was that.
What is this? What is this pressure I'm feeling?
I understand now, and we'll have to leave it at that.
I think that's just textual at this point. Like, truly, I think, like, this
A
man
little bit,
looks
yeah.
at you,
Yeah.
and he's so powerful you can feel his gaze.
Which is kind of terrifying. Like, I know that's kind of like a trope, but also it's like really terrifying because imagine if their perception of the way light bounces off of you hurts you. That's some eldritch stuff.
That's fucked up and evil. How did you do that?
Yeah, well. I don't know. I shop at the Gap.
Yeah, this
Yeah, me too, but I can't do
Gap
that.
built different, I guess.
We're gonna see this dude in upcoming episodes more and more. He's so baby.
He's so baby.
It's so funny who
I-
they chose to have this dude be.
Okay. As we brought up this, I have nothing else to add to this besides maybe just hints of brain hums. But I looked at that man when we saw him, and I'm like, why did they get like a young Hongo Takeshi impersonator?
He's got just a little bit. He's got a little bit of that. Like, I can't believe it's Hongo.
If he was,
Or I can't believe it's not Hongo.
I
But without the
can.
calories.
Yeah, but yeah, he's significantly less calories. It's not like I can't taste that shit.
This is true.
That man is rich, anyway.
You better will fucking believe it.
You're so lucky that we're on the podcast and I have self-restraint for not making more jokes.
Wonderful. I should the big like crux of the episode kind of comes towards the very end, as Ichijo is giving chase to our perpetrator. He breaks into the crowd that is leaving from the concert performance. He tries to grab a hostage. This is all happening in front of Mika, who is also trying to leave her performance, her recital. Ichigo, Japanese sniper that he is able to shoot the dude's gun out of his hand, and then he's able to wrestle him to the ground.
You ever play Police 911 in the arcades?
Oh,
Remember that shit? That's exactly what it reminded me of. He straight up pulls the like, ooh, 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 targeting reticle on his hand. Bing! Bing! Oh, I loved those games where it had like the little like cage around it, and like you could it had like a motion detector, so it would detect your body movement and move the game camera accordingly. So the whole mechanic was that you took active cover, like yourself, while playing that video game, and you would get in these shootouts with criminals, but you'd never shoot the criminals. You would always shoot the guns out of their hand.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good ass Konami arcade game right there.
A classic.
Yeah, I think, gosh, what was my line for that? Heck yeah, Ichijo, being able to shoot the fun out of his hand. Like,
You're
like
right.
that is why Godai is gay for you.
My man, his aim, impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he, he shoots the gun out of the hand, he wrestles the dude to the ground, we get him into police custody, and Mika is reasonably shook.
A little bit.
She kind of just watched this shit go down, and she is sort of just stone still, stock solid, and Godai shows up, and he's like, what did I miss? And Ichijo's just like, I got work shit I have to do all of a sudden now. Can you take care of Mika? And, Godai's like, yeah, all right, I got her. So, I actually kind of enjoyed that, because we've had these sort of situations before where Godai tries to comfort someone after, like, a difficult time in their life. But when we kind of cut to that in this episode, it's just Mika and Mika and Godai on the train platform, and he doesn't actually initiate the conversation. It's Mika who starts talking, and talking about how like she feels like she was maybe more scared than she normally would have been about what she saw there, because she just a couple however long earlier she was sitting and laughing with Ichijo and seeing him smile. And that's where Godai kind of gets us to sort of the whole crux of the episode, which is people are multifaceted. The Ichijo that you saw smiling and who was talking to you about sweets, and the Ichijo who was capable of that violence, they are the same person at the end of the day, which is a heck of a thing for a kids show.
Yeah,
to be talking about.
I was talking, because we were watching it together. I was talking about this with Fats. I'm just like, wow, that's a kind of complex message. And then I started seeing it everywhere, even retroactively throughout Kuuga, and I'm like, oh, that's so good. Because like, we have the cold open of like, from the cliffhanger, where this guy is going and seemingly approaching Mika for nefarious intent, just as like, instead it's just like, hey, you dropped something. And then a couple minutes later, switches on a dime. It's like, yeah, those are the same people.
Yeah.
It's... Ow. You don't know... I could go too long. I probably shouldn't, because I can ramble about these themes, and I will.
That's fair. I will make a point to just say that I do like that you also get to see these themes seep into the episodes going forward a little bit more, at least as far as our regular people. Well, all right.
Maybe my brain was just on them, but
I know authors who use subtlety and they're all cowards.
Yeah.
The duality of gay boys.
Yeah, that was my final note of this episode was, inside you there are two wolves. One is a cop, the other is a good friend. You are gay.
Like, well, because like, I picked it up in coming episodes, but it's still relevant now. You even have that duality and they're the same person aspect with Godai as a character, because like Godai and Kuuga are the same people, but Kuuga is the great warrior, or like a great warrior.
Yeah.
And
then Godai is just like a dude, hero to children, because he sing funny song and juggle.
Goofball clown man Labrador retriever human.
Yeah.
And Mr.
Nuke.
makes a 3 mile explode. Yeah, Mr. makes a 3 mile radius explode are the same fucking dude.
Also, Mr. If this wasn't a kid's show, we would probably get some dismemberment.
Oh yeah. No, definitely for sure.
So like, I don't know,
I mean, he
like
makes
that.
other people dismember themselves.
It's true.
He has dismembered, actually. Like, sort of. He shot that owl through the wing.
We're not good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He forced that owl to rip off a limb.
He sure did.
Wings
Good
are
job.
acceptable. I think wings are the most. If your character has wings, that's like the most gore you can get away with, like without too much questioning in fiction, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Just screams. These.
I love to scream.
You know when I like to scream?
Mm-hmm.
During a crisis. Kamen Rider episode
Wait.
44.
one note that I did not mention, but I think is funny.
Go for it.
As we were introduced to the super evil dude, the big bad, he says, Kuuga inspired me to try something new. And I said, that's a relatable sentiment, but instead of murder, it's me with gender.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
There we go. Now we can go on to a crisis. Let's have a crisis.
Let's have a crisis. It's December 17th. That's the original air date. And here's what's going on with this episode. Enokita tries to figure out how to balance her work and her motherly duties as the final Go-level Grongi uses a tactic to guarantee passage through the final Gegen. So yeah, we are finally on Grongi Prince's turn, but we don't actually start the episode there. We start the episode with one very important question. Fellas,
Weird.
is it gay to go on a morning jog with your boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
Yes. Jogging date.
Jogging
Yeah.
date.
A real Kodiak
Also-
moment.
It really is. Right up until the point where fucking Yusuke trips and makes the fucking Mario 64 lifting noise. My man said, "Whoa!"
also,
Guys, I love you, Godai.
Love you so much.
have I just been in like a specific clothes-focused mood, or is everyone in these episode sets just dressed so well?
You know, for some reason, I did take specific notice of their jogging outfits. I think the reason why specifically, because obviously, now that I'm thinking about it, this is probably color foreshadowing. But just the notion of Godai being in such a dark jogging suit feels kind of like foreign for like what we know about Godai as a person, and it makes me wonder if I were to go back and look through the episodes, has he been wearing darker colors as of late?
I
That would
cannot
be
deny
interesting.
that they have been progressively ramping up, rubbing in our face the the unexpected dichotomy of the hero and villain being darkness and light, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, they're making a point to try and drive it home.
It's been pretty evident.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't even think about the casual look though. That's fun.
Because it was just one of those things where I kind of noticed it sort of made Godai stand out against the gray of Ichijo's outfit to me, and that's why I kind of took so much notice of it, because it's like, wow, those are dark colors for Godai. You wouldn't expect him to exercise in clothes that dark, huh? Like you'd think it'd be the other way around. You know, Godai would be in the gray, or even something a little more colorful, a little more festive looking. You know, he'd be in one of those 90s fit, you know, all sorts of colors and patterns.
Yeah.
And
The
then,
windbreaker.
You know, I mean, Ichijo is in his... did I see that right? Did it say University of Kansas?
I can't remember.
No, it says Kodiak,
Yeah, that's
which I believe is a brand.
Oh, okay. That is like a me level of misreading things.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I was
But also, to be fair,
wondering,
I'm so used to it at this point.
Kodiak bodybuilding apparel. I don't know if that's the same, but no,
Probably.
that seems too new. Yeah, that's too new.
Huh.
I'm sure there's lots of things. It's a type of bear, so
Yeah.
it's, it's kind of
So
easily
now we
named.
know what Ichijo's goals are for the future. Anyway, we after our jog, you know, Godai and Ichijo are talking when Ichijo gets a call from Enokita, who is talking about, you know, hey, I'm on my way. I'm going to be getting ready for that big work meeting that we've got when it's time for everyone's, you know, favorite part of the show. Enokita, you know, fucked up.
It's amazing how you balance this all and be a mom, says Yusuke. Yeah. Oh man, this stuff's gonna hit progressively harder, and
Oh, yeah.
I was eating it up. I was just shoveling it in my mouth like a
Yeah.
delicious cereal.
I may have made many crying noises and then proceeded to cry during some of these scenes.
That is very fair. So yeah, Enokita gets absolutely roasted by her mom about the fact that she didn't come home last night again, and she has to go to some a meeting this morning again. And, she's talking about, I thought you were going to make sure to be here this time because you've got that parent-teacher conference for Sayaru today, which, I heard that and I was like, Enokita, please tell me you didn't actually miss a parent-teacher meeting.
Those those are a big deal in Japan. They do like a whole thing where they stand in during classes. Like, it's an event.
But luckily she hasn't missed it yet, and she promises
it'll be fine.
She is going to make it to the parent-teacher meeting once she is done with this work meeting, which she has to do today because it already got pushed forward because they're behind at work. It's a whole thing. You got to understand. So, don't worry, Mom. Don't worry, Grandma. Enokita is going to make it home, and she's going to take her son Sayaru to that parent-teacher meeting. It's going to be great.
She promised. Of course she's going to.
Of course she's going to. We get to
her.
Pop in on Pol for a brief moment where we start setting something up, which I didn't realize we were, or I guess I should say more so, I forgot that we were setting something up at the time, but I think it's cool that we started setting this up, like, here and now. Because we got Pops just kind of sitting, hanging out, looking at this picture of Everest that he's got on the wall, and just looking with the longing, the wanderlust. And, Nana's like, well, you sure like that picture. Did you take it yourself? And he's like, nah, it wasn't me. I didn't take it. But you're right. I do really like this picture. It calms me. Makes me, lets me clear my mind.
It soothes me. Something about it.
Yeah. I love this picture's soothing aura.
Yeah.
And then we get to go to what I lovingly refer to as Ichigo finally introducing his boyfriend to his family. I love that this scene starts with... I love that this scene specifically starts on Godai's smiling face, and then up into the frame comes the newly printed Yusuke Godai business cards that have the officially printed 2000 on them. He's gotten the card updated, baby. 2000 skills.
Oh yeah.
For professional dream chaser Yusuke Godai. So we're having a big meeting here at the police station with Godai, all of the cops that have been on the ULF task force so far, and Akita as well, where we're going to kind of try and figure out what our game plan is now that they are clearly our monsters are getting quite a bit stronger as well. And, there are obviously concerns about, hey, what are we going to do about Daguva, because this guy seems like he's pretty insanely strong as well.
Daguva or Daguba!
And Akita...
I'm sorry. I can't hear his name normally.
No, that's so fair.
You gotta throw that Grongi stank on it.
Yeah. That's not Grongi stink. That's Batman stink specifically.
And he's so stinky.
He is so stinky.
He was. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rip to a legend, honestly.
I really thought you might have... I don't know. For some reason I had this idea that he might switch sides. I was a fool.
Yeah. No, he's not that cool.
I thought he would have a more... Well, I guess he did get quite a last hurrah. The heroes didn't beat him. So
my man was Hulkamania running wild on people. But, and then the big bad showed up and fucking obliterated him.
Thought he would be obliterated a little closer to the end, but I suppose it was in the latter quarter, so.
Yeah, I mean, he lasted longer than most Grongi do.
It's true. Especially ones that aren't just, the taskmasters.
Yeah.
Non-combatant Grongis. Soon to change. Spoilers.
Soon to change, yeah. Well, let's get into that. So we're kind of talking about what we can do and how things are going as far as the investigation. And Okita shows off the new tracer bullets that we have for the Grongi. We have developed Monster Hunter paintball technology.
We're gonna fill these fuckers with nanomachines.
Yeah. We're
The
gonna hit
year
him with the
2000.
nanomachines. You know, with the nanomachines that we had from 2000.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't, I didn't realize that was in the, like, cultural lexicon by the year 2000, but
Isn't that like something?
Japan's always been ahead of the curve, though.
It's
Exactly.
probably much older than we
Yeah.
realize.
I'm gonna
Probably.
Yeah,
Google
probably.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm actually a little curious.
Continue talking, and
Yeah, I was gonna say.
if you're curious about this, listener, you can Google.
You can go to google.com,
Yeah.
type in
Yeah.
nanomachines.
Nanomachines. Son.
Nanomachines.
No, don't add the sun. You'll get a
Don't
different
add the
result.
sun.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, don't have the fun.
Nanorobotics.
But yeah.
Football's back. Nope, that's
Yeah, we got
that's so irrelevant. We can't. I'm sorry.
Oh my
My brain activated.
That's very fair. I mostly wanted to just get to the very fun end of this meeting. You know, because everyone is obviously very, grim and very serious because we're talking about how are we going to hunt down and apprehend these mass murderers.
Pretending
who
Goat
have
Man was
gotten-
strong.
Yeah.
Even though he
Well,
was
I
killed
mean-
in half an episode.
Okay, but also he did fucking, dent the purple armor.
Yeah.
Godai was kind of getting his ass handed to him before Ichijo showed up.
It's still funny to me. I get
is.
it, but
No,
it's
that's
funny. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, so, obviously, when we're having a meeting like this, there's going to be one last rousing word from our chief of police to kind of try and encourage everybody to do their best job on this mission, which is met by about a second and a half of silence before Yosuke busts out a big
Yosuke.
thumbs up and goes, "Let's do it!"
Yeah.
Which, I love that bit.
It's so. I love his energy.
It's so in character for
I
him.
love how it holds on that scene for so long. It's so fun.
Lingers in real time.
Yeah.
I love that
Hold-
it keeps
hold
zooming in on
it.
his face and he gets...
God, yeah. He's just making
Yes,
the
that's right.
craziest faces. Like
Making-
three
Fuck.
different expressions for a thumbs up.
It's so good.
Everybody's corpsing. they're all just losing it.
So funny.
Yeah. It's wonderful. God bless you, Godai. Absolutely the best. So we go ahead and we check out our Grongi for just a moment, because Grongi Prince is talking about how he's going to do his thing. He's got his cool new power, and he's going to use it to make sure he gets through to the final Gigaru, so he can go after our big bad Dagava. But, before that, he has to actually go ahead and do the damn thing. And what is the damn thing this time? What's his special little wrinkle that he puts into his game? Well, he is going to go and specifically fight all of the Grongi warriors, or Lintel warriors, I should say. So he goes rolling right on up to a police department, and he gets to murdering. And a murder he does. He fucking
He
nukes.
becomes the cop killer.
Yeah, he kills cops. He fights them in police stations, because that's where they are. Before that, we do get to jump back to old Jonan for just a little bit. We get to, hang out with Sakurako and Jean, see what they're doing. Sakurako has once again pulled another all-nighter. Truly no rest for the wicked, I suppose. But, we get to kind of just... This is a nice little conversation. It's very kind of just... It kind of helps build more to the energy that we're starting to wrap things up. Enokita is... why did I say Enokita? Sakurako is specifically continuing to do research into Kuuga stuff on Godai's request to try and see about some ways to become stronger that do not specifically include becoming this ultimate darkness, whatever that has been prophesized. And much in the same kind of wrapping things up at the end of the year vibe, our friend Jean is kind of trying to gather up research materials to send back to the Police Institute, because the joint research with the Police Institute is done. They figure they've done all they could with the Goram, and so he's like, I've got all of this, reference materials and stuff that I need to go give back to Enokita, and I also want to, give her my regards as I do so. Which, fuck yeah, Jean, shoot your shot. We're rooting for you, buddy.
For a second, I kind of almost interpreted this as him giving up the MILF hunt. There was a real air to it that was just like, you know what? I think I'm done.
That's very sure.
I think I'm going to give her my stuff and wish her the best. But no. It's not over so soon.
Yeah, he's going to give it one last college try. So yes, we've got our man Granki Prince. He's out. He's doing it well. Go ahead.
No, he's become the predator. He only fights things that can fight back.
Yeah,
I do have a single note before we move on.
Please,
I'd be remiss not to mention it. Sakurako, your new haircut looks nice.
It is really lovely.
I made a note about this. I don't remember what episode it was in, but it was just something that I kind of mentioned. I really like that, in keeping with the kind of showing the passage of time through the show, just about everyone's hair is, at least in some way, shape, or form, a little bit different. A lot of people's being specifically longer. Like, Godai's hair is longer than it was at the beginning of the show. I think Sakurako's hair is a little bit longer than it was at the beginning of the show. I think Jean's hair is significantly longer than it was in the beginning of the show. He's got, like, a whole new look, which, honestly, it works for him. But, yeah, it's just a nice little bit of, like, Tsubaki has a different haircut than he did at the beginning of the show. Just kind of a neat little thing, because, like, yeah, that how it happened in the world sometimes. Haircut a different.
No way.
Yeah, right? Wild. Speaking of Sakurako, we do get a fun little moment back at the university where Godai comes in as Jean is trying to decide what materials to bring back to the Institute. And they find one of Godai's old business cards, which
they find two.
Actually, yeah, they find two. Well, what? To be fair, Jean's they find. Sakurako had hers saved,
which is very cute. I thought that was a great little detail that she just put in a little album.
Yeah, and impressively, Godai is able to remember, like, when the period of time is that, like, the business card was given based off of how many skills was listed on it. So, like, she shows him John's, and he sees, like, oh wow, 1,834 skills. That must have been when I first met John. And she's like, yeah, you're right.
I know we generally joke that he's a bit of a doofus, affectionately, but is Godai actually really smart? I feel like he really keeps it in the sleeve.
I think
so too.
I think, and this is, still going off of a headcanon, but I think his intelligence is correlated with all of his special interests.
I was gonna say, my true interpretation really just goes back that he's significantly on the spectrum.
Yeah, which I appreciate so much. It's like I almost want to believe that, like, he started making these cards because, like, what was his first skill? Well, maybe riding a bike or something. And then it's like, oh, well, you remembered something that happened years ago and you were just a baby then. And then it's another skill, and that's just carried on. And I don't know. I find that very charming.
I wonder when he started making them. What number did he hit where he was just like,
all right,
I should
this on the business
advertise
card.
it. I
imagine it's probably whenever he started, like, adventuring formally.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I'm just thinking, like, you want a good number to kick it off with.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't know.
100,
Like
maybe?
I would say 500. Like 100 skills, sure is, I suppose. But if you really want to
Right.
brag about this on a business card, I think you gotta go 500 at least.
Yeah, that certainly seems fair.
All right, damn.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you guys are both lowballing it to me because for whatever reason, the first number my brain went to was 1,000.
Yeah, that's definitely like if he realized, like, oh yeah, I can do 1,000 things. I should
Put
advertise
that on a
this.
business card. Yeah,
Like,
I should let people know that I'm capable of 1,000 things.
Like, I suppose it depends, really how simple some of them are. But, like, if someone was like, oh, I have 100 skills, I'd be like, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's
Is that
that's
just-
fair
What counts as a skill though? Are you able to count things like
Yeah.
tying shoes as a
Breathing.
skill?
That's why it really depends. And
Actually,
who's-
to be fair, there's advanced levels of shoelacing
oh my
that can also make your
god.
shoes fit
Okay,
your
so-
feet.
Some
who-
people can't even tie their shoes.
what's Godai's
I'm so sorry for them.
like perception of a skill, I suppose, is really the important part, because like if you asked me, am I skilled in most things I do, I'd be like, not really. But like, I get them done regardless. But maybe Godai wouldn't be the same. Maybe Godai is just like, yeah, I can walk without falling down. That's a skill.
No, he can't. But
I don't know. Well, yeah,
I feel
well,
like
you can't.
Hey, that's jogging.
he can't climb without falling down either. He can't enter a room without
Yeah.
saying a whack ass version of good morning and everybody no selling it.
He can sell McDonald's like it's nobody's business. That's a skill.
Honestly, that probably is on there.
I would buy McDonald's from him.
Yeah, he successfully got me to buy McDonald's cheeseburger. Like, I'm not even joking on that point. When we watched that episode, within a couple days, I was like, I have to get some McDonald's
I must
cheeseburger.
have
It's
Beast Churger.
it's in my brain too hard. I need to go get some McDonald's.
What an insane investment for like the sponsorship of McDonald's. Just be like, hey, 23 years ago we spent like enough money to make like a 60-second advertisement in a show, and it's still doing numbers now.
Going gangbusters, baby. Highest return on investment we've ever had.
I am absolutely the white person that does want to go to the Japanese McDonald's, so I need to
Okay,
know.
Okay, but they
Yeah.
have different.
I
was
need
gonna
to
say,
see
to
all
be
those.
fair,
Well,
I've
Is that a negative thing?
It's just
I
a
think-
stereotype, I think, at
Yeah.
this point.
You can go
but
to
it's
more
like,
places.
I will. I'm just saying. I will absolutely live that stereotype without shame, I think.
Well,
No,
yeah,
for
like
sure.
I
I
don't.
think that's
mean-
No,
very
that's my
fair.
point. Like you can go to both McDonald's and then I don't know, name a very like counterculture like side of the road bar that only like 6 people know about. Like you can do
Whatever that
both.
fucking cafe with the horrible eyeballs and shit is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go both. It's
I want to visit the BDSM Sistine Chapel.
Uh,
yeah though.
I want to see the church where they killed Batman.
Yeah.
They didn't kill
No,
him,
but
but
yeah,
whatever.
to be fair, in the defense of all of the people who have ever gone to other country and then go to McDonald's, I watch a lot of these videos on YouTube just because I think they're interesting. Like, most fast food places in other countries, like, yeah, sure, they'll maybe have some of whatever the standard fare for that restaurant is, but they'll also have just, like, a bunch of stuff we don't have here.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really interesting to go to one of those places and just like, hey, try one of the things that you couldn't possibly get here in the States.
Yeah, maybe this is like a silly opinion, but I feel like going to a McDonald's and getting different flavored Kit Kats are basically the same.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
not
it's
able to
very-
do it often, and thus there's a novelty to it, and I'm going to not waste the opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair.
Yeah, okay. It was just, I'm perplexed by existence.
You and me both, buddy. We got very far off topic, and I do want to just circle back to say, this scene where Godai shows up at the university does also end up becoming important for another reason, which is that Jean-Michel Sorel makes a big mistake, and he makes a joke that the autistic person takes seriously.
I'm sorry, it's in my brain now. I can't not do it.
Yeah, so
Commit to the bit.
Kind of in a joking way, as they're talking about how to make Godai stronger, suggests, the first time you got a big power boost was when you got shocked when when you got defibrillated. At that time, that there was that death scare of yours. Maybe you just got to get shocked again. And Godai's like, oh, maybe I do just have to get shocked again. Oh, I'm gonna ask Tsubaki about that.
Please no.
Wait, no.
Wait, no. Yeah, he's like, he hears this idea and he's immediately like, oh my god, Jean, you're a genius. Yeah, I need to go get electrocuted again. I'm gonna go ask Tsubaki right now. My man practically running out the door to try and get himself electrocuted
He's
again.
just gonna jump into some power lines or some shit.
Yeah, really. But this does lead into a nice little conversation that also ends up bleeding into the next episode, because they talk about like, hey, listen, we understand that you're trying to, figure out an option here, but we really don't want you to overdo it on stuff. And, Godai's response to that is like, well, I'm not, is the thing, there's only so much I can do. I've got a limited scope of ability. So I kind of only want to, if I am going to overdo it, I want to at least overdo it as much as I feel like I can handle in what my limited scope is. I mean, that's what you guys are doing, right? And, that's sort of been advertised with everything that was talked about previously. Sakurako has been up all night, going through these runes, going through the translations, trying to find an alternative for, like, a power-up for Godai. We see Jean unpacking the reference materials from the Institute Group research project, and it's files and files and files and CDs and CDs and floppies and floppies and floppies. And so he's like, it's... I'm willing, I'm trying not to push it too far, but I'm willing to overdo it at least a little bit, because this is my thing that I can do. This is my way that I can help. This is how I can keep everyone smiling. And that is a very Godai concept. And I like that it does end up kind of bleeding into the next episode as well a little bit. I do like that he specifically, before he goes to ask Tsubaki for a little jolt, he does explicitly ask for permission from Sakurako if he can go. Which I do appreciate, because if this was earlier in the show, he wouldn't have done that.
Mm.
He would have just gone for it, and there'd be some sort of a conversation between like Sakurako and like an Ichijo or a Tsubaki or something, where she talks about he goes off and he just does this stuff, and so it's nice to see how that dynamic has changed. Show good, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's like in the beginning of the show, Sakuraku was very much like a, hey, I'm going to, or I'm a bit apprehensive about all this, and Godai was brushing it off quite a bit, and now it's just like he takes that a lot more seriously, which not only shows character growth, but also like reinforces their like how they care about each other, and I just appreciate art.
So we get to the end of the episode. There are a couple of important things that happen. Number one being, obviously, we've got the Grangi attack, so we got to start mobilizing people for the Grangi attack, which of course means someone's got to get back to work. We need those nerve-disrupting bullets to be able to kill Grangi. And Okita, miss your meeting.
They get
What? But she promised.
Oh man, that's so rough, and they pull that big ass Jaws dolly zoom on her.
Yeah.
The fail woman has been activated, and she must go do her job.
Yep. And you can see that she's distraught about it too.
It hurts. Like it hurts more than any of the other ones. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Like they snatched her, like they grabbed her by the scruff, kicking and screaming.
Mm-hmm. It's poor Enokita.
3 of these 4 episodes have me having notes about crying about Anakita's plot.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Also, Prince Krongi, at one point he's talking about how all these police officers are super whack.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me I got this like glimpse into an alternate timeline or like of a manga edition of this. Where his desire for a proper challenge in this Geguru makes him organize a fighters tournament.
As soon as you said, oh my god,
and we go
Prince Groggy's Cell Games.
Yeah, as soon as we go on this like 20 chapter tournament arc, which Prince Groggy, it's just like all a bunch of these whack ass fighters just start assembling out of the woodwork. It's like, yeah, I want to be the hero that takes down a ULF. It's finally our chance, and they all just get obliterated.
Yeah, absolutely jobbed out.
And then Kuuga fights him in a big arena. It's really cool.
Yeah.
We don't get that. We do get an arena though. Coming soon.
Get an arena next episode, yeah. We should wrap up this episode, which I liked the way they wrapped up this episode. This To Be Continued was done so cool.
Do you like the Matrix?
Yeah. We got Prince Grongi. He's menacing a bunch of cops who are futilely trying to shoot him. Guys, you'd think after you noticed like 1 or 2 of those bullets weren't working, you'd stop shooting them and just run, but whatever, I guess.
No, they're just unloading for like 5 straight minutes. Like they clearly reloaded in the middle and kept going.
True. We get probably one of my favorite like action cuts in this whole show, in this bit where Kuuga, he does a bike transformation. He shows up in the red form. He sees a gun on the ground. We watch him dive for it. And then there's a cut to a different angle of a police car where we watch him pop up onto the roof in green form. With
it was cool as hell.
Yeah.
It looked cool as shit.
Really enjoyed.
Yeah, he turns the gun into the Nerf blaster. He draws it back. He fires. We watch the bullet as it slow-mo comes at the camera.
To be continued.
And that's our to be continued. And
you know this man's gonna job.
You know this man's about to job. And yeah, continued it will be on episode 45, Arch Enemy, original air date, Christmas Eve 2000.
Aww.
Merry
Christmas,
fucking
Japan.
Christmas,
It's
y'all.
like Christmas
Get your
morning.
KFC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
KFC.
say when we were talking about the McDonald's, it was like I don't know if I would actually try Japanese KFC though, if only because the season for it would be so much of a fucking hassle.
You would have to order
Yeah.
that shit so far in advance.
And I don't think it's that different.
Notoriously.
It probably isn't. But yes, quick synopsis rundown of this episode. As Yusuke is defeated by the strengthened Go Garolba, Enokita rushes to complete the nerve-shattering bullets, even at the risk of estranging her son.
Damn.
Yeah, so as the synopsis might suggest, this beginning of the episode doesn't go so hot for old Godai. He gets on the roof of that car, he fires at Prince Grongi, it hits him square in the back, and you see the little symbol show up, and then fade away, and then my man's eyes turn green, and he makes his own Nerf blaster, and shoots Kuuga,
Yeah.
who luckily dodges out of the way, because the after effects explosion of that makes me think that shit would have fucked him up bad.
Prince Grongi with the power of gimmick stealing.
Yeah.
Scream.
My man is absolutely going to fucking just steal your whole shit.
He's got that little thing, he's got the dial in the back, and you turn it and his eyes change different colors.
Yeah.
His toy is fucking awesome.
And that's why it's a and that's why it's $60.
Yeah.
See-
Well, he comes with every weapon.
Well, yeah, it does come with all the weapons. Batteries not included.
I don't need them.
So
Back in my day, they used to include the batteries.
Well, they don't include the batteries anymore because they might corrode and leak into the plastic, ruining the archival purposes of it.
so true.
And
This is true, but it's
don't-
very unfortunate.
Yeah. Maybe
Toys are sold initially
Yeah.
for children, not collectors.
you should simply
Children
just
need
be
batteries.
given, like, free batteries in a separate, like, container.
Yeah.
Children love batteries.
Children love to put batteries in their mouths. I'm
Yeah,
always
we'll
saying
eat
this.
them.
That's why you gotta give children all the batteries they want,
Yeah.
so
let
they
them
can be well
cry-
fed.
Yeah. Let them develop electric powers like Blanca did.
Yeah.
Develop your taste for lithium. Eat this battery.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Damn, Nirvana's pretty good. We go back to the Institute very briefly, where Enokita gets to show up and then get roasted by her mom again when she calls home to be like, "Hey, listen, I'm not gonna be able to make the parent-teacher conference because a mass murderer is out mass murdering."
So we really need to kick this whole, in retrospect, kind of fucked up weaponry research. Like, they're making some shit to commit war crimes if it weren't for the fact that they're using it against supervillains. Like the hyper exploding bullet, like cluster bomb bullets. Like, that's just like, that would be horrifying against any living person. The police
Yeah, that would
shouldn't
annihilate like any human.
the police shouldn't have this, and most militaries shouldn't either. I think America would be very interested to see what's going on in the fucking police research lab, honestly, during this whole
They
crisis.
sure would.
There's actually a part that comes up next episode that I kind of pieced together. I'm like, I guess this isn't too much of a spoiler, so I'll bring it up now. But like, they mention, Rosewoman mentions that the Linto are fated to become more like us, and I'm kind of thinking, like, is that just because they're fighting back, or is that because they're making weapons that'll do war crimes? Like,
Maybe
Yeah.
a little of both.
it was just considering, like, Kuuga was, basically a nuclear weapon. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, the power escalation of this show is, obviously, like, in the context of the show, it's necessary, but when you kind of think back and you sit back and you think on it, it is very scary, the stuff that is being developed, which it's not next, is it next episode or in one of the later episodes that we're going to be talking about today, where, like, there is something that, like, Enokita does talk about, like, I'm not a fan of the research I've been doing recently. I don't like that I've been making all of these, like, terrifyingly stronger and stronger weapons.
It's crazy.
It's just yeah.
I'm glad the
it's-
show arrived at the same conclusion that I did when I saw them researching how to make cluster bomb bullets.
Yeah.
like, that is an unsurprising conclusion given the context in which this was created, but a welcome one still, because, hey, war crimes are bad.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Whoa.
I know, and I am willing to stand by it.
Just gonna say
You're
that
so
live
brave.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'll
people are
edit it
going to
out.
hear this.
I'll bleep it.
Edit that shit out.
Our
They can't know.
subscribers
Yeah, really.
number well into the teens, and you would say things this brazen.
There are
Excuse me.
dozens of us.
Dozens out there. And we love each and every one of you. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
No, really do appreciate you. Hey, let's go watch Godai get his ass kicked, huh? It's
Yeah.
been a while since we did that.
And
It
I'm-
hasn't, actually. Yes?
Yeah.
No, that was my reaction to this. My
Oh.
entire
Oh, okay.
reaction
Just
to this
kidding.
scene.
I'm sorry. I thought I had cut you off.
Yeah.
No,
Fucking
apologies.
destroyed.
I'm simply screaming.
Yeah, no,
I
that's fair.
understand.
Thank you.
Godai is
Yeah, my
Goda's predictably jobbing. My favorite part of this fight, though, is the Ninja Council going like, "I'm going to take a lunch break." Oh, what the fuck?
Yep. Yeah, he gets hit by the Japanese sniper. Ichijo, baby, he's on the scene.
Didn't even need the scoped weapon. Just got him from downtown because he just needed to get the tracker, and he was just like, "I gotta take my shot."
And his reward for this is getting pushed off the building by a bird man.
The Ninja Council is a whack-ass bird. He's like
what is with this man's jowls?
He looks like Old Bird from the Metroid.
God, he does.
He's straight up with the eyes and everything. Like, he also just tries to rail and kill him super hard. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Just out of here. Eliminates you from the Royal Rumble, but he did the classic mistake. He turned his back. Ichijo skinned the cat.
Yeah, Ichijo Kingston. Holding onto that top rope for dear life.
Yeah, another Ichijo Royal Rumble moment.
You'll love to see it, baby.
I may have a controversial opinion about this Birdman suit, actually. I think it might be one of the worst in Kuuga.
That's
really?
Okay. So I feel so bad because I had been waiting to see what this character looked like transformed ever since they showed up, because I was so invested. I was like, they're going to be so cool. This is great. I can't wait for them to be one of the last enemies. And then I actually watched this episode earlier this week. And I had to pause it. I was watching it by myself, and I turned to Knight sitting beside me, and I said, I have to give you the context for I'm really disappointed for a second, and then I basically said that no, this character has been built up, and I said he's so ugly.
Yeah. Why'd they make him so portly?
What?
He looks old. He's an old man.
He looks like a melting gnome.
I truly never got the vibe of old man until this very moment. It's so funny that that's what they were going for, and not a Shunibyo. Because that's all he came across. He just came across as an edgy little teen to young adult.
I don't understand. The thing is, like, his design is,
if he didn't look like that when he looked like that, I think I would be okay with this suit in a vacuum.
I think I'd be more okay with it, but I don't like it even in a vacuum. It's so silly.
I wish it had more setup of an older dude, like a clearly old man who turned into an old portly bird with tonfas.
Yeah. And not like grunky sheep.
Yeah.
Why do you... This man looks like an aged turkey with a midlife crisis going on. Like,
the power of Raw.
Oh, man. Whoa, the curse of Raw upon you.
Look, I understand there... Like, he was in all white, and... You know, then his outfit his transformation's mostly black, but he still has that white motif, and it's like going with the darkness and versus dark and light or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the judgment.
But
and all that
look
shit.
at this man. Like, why do you have a turtle tattoo on your head? Get out of here.
I think I was eagerly awaiting an opportunity to simp for this character.
That's
and my dreams were dashed in an instant.
Fair.
I'm so sorry, B.
It's okay.
Like,
you
could always...
I'm so glad we're all just unified in how whack this dude.
Yes.
Well, hold on now. Not all of us.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, you're the dissenting opinion.
Listen,
Please tell us how much you love him.
No. You don't understand. I am not going to sit here and pretend like this is my favorite suit to come out of this show, but I am certainly not as against it as everyone else here.
I'm for it. It's
not
just
a bad
funny.
Suit. It's just not. It's not what I expected.
That is very fair. I will certainly give you that his human appearance does not give the look of like what his monster appearance implies, but I do think that when you think kind of in context as to what his monster appearance implies, it does make sense. Like, this is a guy who has largely kind of existed on the outside confines of the game. He seems to somehow inexplicably be able to be everywhere and, like, kind of sort of near omniscient. And he's expressly tasked with the job of kind of watching over everyone as they try to do their Gegaru. And he specifically is the scorekeeper. And I think the monster form does do a good job of, expressing someone who would be in that kind of a role of, like, he is a wizened sort of a kind of Grongi elder, maybe not quite old enough or quite spry enough, I should say, to participate himself, but still given a level of significant importance within the Grongi hierarchy. And I definitely give you that his human form probably could have conveyed that a little bit better. I think they went a little too hard into trying to make him mysterious, and they didn't give him quite enough distinction. But I do think that the Grongi version does still convey that really well. This is someone who I would point at and say, yeah, that's the village elder.
You're not wrong. And I don't like that because I want to keep making fun of this man. And I will, just with,
like,
less wholeheartedly, I suppose, but...
I'm just saying, I agree with all your points. They just completely fumbled the bag of conveying that outside of his monster form.
Yeah,
like,
his actions, his everything, his role. Like, yeah, I get it. I get that's what's happening. He just looked like a dude with way too long of hair.
I think, looking at it again, you could almost get you should probably make the eyebrows a little bit less dumpy thick, but also, throw that hair down into the Blair Witching it into the corner kind of vibes, because, that's what the human form has, and then it would kind of at least add more texture to the rather smooth head versus the jowls and the beak.
His
right
weird
now he
mohawk into a mullet thing that he's got going on is definitely kind of interesting.
He has Greg Universe hair.
I don't think you realized how quickly you murdered him.
Holy shit. God, cut down in the prime of his old.
He sure did.
Speaking of things that get cut down, Godai tries to go purple at Prince Grongi, and boy, is that a fucking mistake.
Yeah, he reveals his shoulder was cake the whole time.
Yeah, that thing gets sliced off. Prince Grongi predictably does his thing where Godai turns purple and then tries to stab him. And so Grongi Prince makes his eyes purple and then steals Godai's sword and turns it into his sword.
It's not even that. It's the fact that, Godai doesn't try to stab him. He does. Right through, and then,
he gets him right in the tumby.
Yeah, and then Prince Grongi just does a Terminator move and just pulls it out, just looking menacingly at him. And it's like, cool.
Yeah. Old Grongi Prince, kind of insanely strong, it seems like. And
I wonder what he did to get this power. Did he throw himself into some telephone lines and just get electrocuted?
Maybe.
Because he got the gold.
That's an excellent question.
Okay, so I think...
We'll never know. Or will we? I don't know.
Yes, because I have the 100% canon
Oh, you got the lore
response.
Bible?
Yeah, I got the lore
wonderful.
Bible, and it says that they're all aliens from Jupiter, because Jupiter has electric fields or whatever. And
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's because they got more stupider.
I mean, no, that's just for Bird Person. That's how he got the power.
That's
I'm also on my way to Jupiter.
powerful.
Thank you for saying it before me. 'Cause I feel like it would just be mean to ask.
Jumping in front of the bus myself.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm saluting.
We appreciate you. F's in the chat for B drops.
Went to Jupiter.
Yeah. B drops died on the way to his home planet.
Later, losers. Moments before detonation. I'm just dying instantly.
There's
Oh
the
my
there's
God.
there's the image of like that dude just giving the peace sign and fading out. I just imagine B doing that.
But instead it's a nuke.
Yeah.
Well, it fades
And
out.
it
and-
only kills me.
It fades out, and then
And I'm
there's the
aware of
Toby
this.
Fox like crushed bit explosion.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Going back to the Kuuga fight real quick. Godai, jobbing still, tries to
Continuing to
tries
job.
to hit a clincher, goes red, tries to kick him. That doesn't work, doesn't remotely do anything. He's like, alright, let me go gold red and then kick him and that'll do it.
Ichijo, get out of the way.
Doesn't even remotely do shit. And then yeah, as Shakes mentioned, Grongi Prince is like, let me show you how a real man goes gold. Turns gold himself, which Grongi Prince's gold form, nice.
Yeah.
Real good looking.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
God. No,
Okay. I really like how they set this whole thing up because, like, yeah, you're like, okay, they could do, like, they're probably gonna be like, okay, well, the super evil ULF Zero and the super higher ups, they're gonna be kind of like mirror matches for Godai, but at the same time, we have had that set up in the initial, or like a few episodes ago, where it's just like, hey, if this is like Garangi tech, can they do that stuff? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
They very much so can.
It
Would
was a
make sense.
hypothetical, but then when you're like, when you understand the like power that the gold power gives, and kind of the strength of it on like a narrative level, just seeing that paid off is so satisfying and just so good.
Kuga's so good.
It's so good.
This show sets things up and then follows up. That's
Whoa.
wild.
Yeah,
And-
insane.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then like, going back a little bit, like we have the episode reality of just like, oh, the duality in the unseen versus seen, or bad versus good people can also be, one of the same. And it's like, you got Enokita, who really wants to try to help her kid, and she wants to help, the humanity at large, or at least just, Japan. But like, then you also have her just neglecting her kid to do that, and it's like, oh, it's that, like, they're the same person. You could yeah, my notes reflect my disposition as I slowly break down more and more.
Yeah, good crop of episodes of this one, well and truly.
I could
Parentheses,
Okay.
blubbering noises.
Yeah.
I have a point to bring up, but I'll bring it up at the end of next episode, because it's relevant to the series as a whole and not these sets of episodes. But
Mhm.
yeah, I have so much to talk about.
That's very fair. We'll wrap up this fight very quickly. Just in that Grongi Prince goes gold, he Rider kicks Godai. Godai, I gave him full points for this because he successfully didn't just fucking die on the spot when he got gold kicked by a clearly more powerful entity. Good job not just getting fucking murdered. But he does get his ass thoroughly handed to him.
Here you go, sir.
Yeah, on a silver platter. well
Your
and truly.
ass.
Your ass, Saya.
Gold ass.
We hop back to the Institute very quickly. specifically because we want to watch Enokita get a phone call as she is joining in on the fucked up evil bullets research from Ichijo, where he's like, hey, I hate to be that guy, but can we maybe pick it up on the bullets? Cause our boy ULF4 just got fucking sauced. So we might need to run a little defense on this one while we wait for him to recover.
Yeah, expedited order on that, please, and thank you, and please.
This already expedited order.
Yeah, well and truly. We make a point to go ahead and send Godai to the hospital because he got his ass handed to him. And we hop on over to go back to Jonan, where Sakurako and Jean are talking. I specifically want to point out this bit because we learned that Jean's advances, shall we say, are not unnoticed by our cast. He talks about how he's gonna head out to go give those researches back to Enokita, and Sakurako's like, "Good luck."
Yeah. Go get him, buddy.
So, say hi to Enokita for me. Which is very powerful.
Yeah, it's just like those, again, little details in the show, because it's just like that does not contribute to the plot, except it sort of does, because like that gives context that it's another thing anyway that gives context to like these people are actually friends and working together and care about what's happening in each other's lives and not just the main story. It's Kuuga's so good. I'm just screaming.
Kuuga's so good.
Yeah. I like when shows do this. In just kind of like a fun little bit of kind of showing, I guess, like how connected everyone is. Just as Jean's about to head out the door, he's kind of just stops for a moment and he thinks, "How do you think Godai is doing?" And Sakurako kind of just makes this face, and it's interesting. It's almost carries this energy of like somehow they've now found out that he just got his ass handed to him without actually even being explicitly told. That sixth sense sort of thing. But then he carries on the conversation to ask about if, Sakurako, do you think that, or do you not want Godai to get any stronger? And she's like, I mean, that one's a little complicated, because, like, I want Godai to be able to help more people smile, but, like, what it seems like it is going to take for that to happen, I maybe don't want to happen to Godai, but he's kind of also the only one who can do it. It's a thing that's kind of explored over these next, this episode and the next one, of kind of what has changed about Godai, I should say. Specifically how he's clearly, different from who he was at the beginning of the show. And even, they show a shot of the, the business card that he gave Sakurako when they first met, and, kind of thinking about how different he was from then to when the show started to now is, it's, I have to imagine it's got to be a really complex set of emotions that comes from kind of watching your friend slowly but surely turn themselves into a weapon, but kind of being in the position where you can't necessarily ask them to not do it.
Yeah, not just because so much is at stake, but also because that's their choice to make, and they're definitely making it.
It's the way they kind of handle the complexities and the intricacies and delicacies of Sakurako and Godai's relationship throughout the show, I really enjoy, because I remember talking all the way back at the beginning of how Ichijo and Sakurako they come to the same conclusion about helping Godai, but they kind of look at it from two different points of view. And it's just kind of interesting to see that still continue to be consistent, honestly, for both of them throughout the whole show. Sakurako, does her best, and she does work very hard, kind of even going back to what Godai said in the last episode of she overdoes it as much as she can in, the arena that she is able to overdo it in to try and help Godai, but at the end of the day, the motivation always is to help keep Godai safe, more so than to help, make him a bigger, more powerful gun to aim at our enemies. And, Ichijo as well, he's, it's kind of shown in how he's constantly sort of leaning on the assistance of the other police and the, the Institute, because he also wants to help, Godai, and he wants to do that in his own way, because he understands if he was in the same position, he wouldn't be able to stop Godai. It's just, it's cool to see that even though, the characters have developed and they've grown and they've changed over the point of the show, the kind of core values that make up their motivations in the show are still intact.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that Sakurako's willingness to help Godai
mm-hmm.
is kind of an inverse of, Godai's thoughts of like, hey, Sakurako, is this okay if I do? And the reason why she says yes is because she's more willing than before. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. Dang good fucking show is what I will say.
This is a good show.
It's a good show.
What a good show.
So we end this bit with with Sakurako.
How many variations can we get?
Yeah.
What a good piece of film that is not animated or put to cinema.
Intended for younger audiences, but featuring mature content that is both in severity and in respect.
Mm.
Nods.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Anyway, we end the scene with Sakurako hearing a news report about the ULF attack and thus learning that Godai never actually made it to Tsubaki's place to ask about, please electrocute me, sir.
He got the funny Buddhist number kill.
Do what?
Sorry, 108 is a key thing. It's one of those numbers. So I might have brought this up before. I can't remember. Anyways, it's in Buddhism. There's believed to be I'm just going to read this off. Defilements or earthly desires that humans experience. There is said to be 108 of these vices that we go through during our time on Earth. It's a sacred number. It happens a lot in Buddhism.
I'm trying to think back because this does actually feel familiar.
Did
we talk about this on the podcast before?
I don't know, maybe. Japanese media, as you might imagine, from a country that has a large Buddhist population, it comes up. it's just a good go-to number sometimes.
Yeah. Moving on a little bit here. We have a brief moment where our Rose Lady meets up with Daguva, and they talk about like, hey, Grangi Prince is doing pretty good, but also maybe he'll still die in the end. We'll see what happens. And we cut on over to Pol Pol, where Minako shows up with our incredibly pregnant other woman teacher from the school whose name I don't quite remember. I feel like it starts with a U. Is it Aiko?
Is it Aiko with an E?
Aiko? Maybe, I don't know. Her co-worker at the preschool who is pregnant. She shows up at Pol Pol with with her, and they have a conversation that we'll get more into in a little bit. because we're kind of taking a look at the police. How are the cops doing as they are trying to hunt down? They've got a ULF with the trackers in them. We're gonna see if we can try to find them, which I do like. During this segment, we have, I think, in a great way of kind of proving how quickly and how easily Godai is able to connect with people. Kageyama? I think Kageyama is the name of a cop, but not the cop I'm thinking of. But yeah, so the bread eating cop has this quick little conversation with Ichijo over the police radio where he does express like very legitimate concern about Godai and the fact that he got hurt, and he's like, hey, is Godai gonna be all right? Is he gonna be able to recover from this? And obviously Ichijo being Ichijo and kind of being in this game a little bit too long at this point is like, don't worry, Godai's gonna be fine. He's gonna make it back, and that's it's gonna be okay. And he's able to kind of brighten up the spirits of our other policeman pretty quickly just by being able to reassert him that Godai's gonna be okay. But I just kind of enjoyed that scene in that, like, Godai and this cop probably met each other, I don't know, if we're going based off of like episode posting dates, maybe like 2 months ago. And already like there's that close of a bond that he's showing all of this okay? Like like all of this legitimate worry and concern for him. It's just,
I think that's just the effect Godai has on people.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say. It really like speaks to Godai's ability to like relate and connect to people on a personal level very quickly, that he can kind of just very quickly make these incredibly strong connections with people who were not but strangers maybe a few moments ago. It's one of Godai's many very, very strong qualities that he has. So as we
his greatest skill.
Yeah, truly. As we were driving around and having this conversation, we do pick up a reading on our Birdman, our ninja council. So we're gonna go see where he is and what he's doing, which we, as the audience, get a little sneak peek into that. He is in Central Arena, I believe it's called.
The fucking Ice Capades.
Yeah, he's at the Ice Capades. He's having a meeting with Rose Woman and Grongi Prince, where Grongi Prince is talking about how he's gonna get back to his game after I forget the exact context, but he talks about how he's gonna have to get back to his game, and Bird Ninja Council's like, actually, you're gonna have to restart your game because they done broke the fucking counter. They broke my goddamn abacus. Which,
it's so fucking funny. And he's just like, his answer to this is, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
understandable. Yeah, I think
that is my
The game is now like, me killing you.
I'm going to kill you, and Bird Prince is like, okay.
Yeah, understandable. Let's go.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean that's basically like a program crashing. So you didn't save your work. Oh, you got to restart. Well, you're going to destroy the program now.
Okay, yes.
I'm gonna just take this computer and just chuck it off of a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
Going to fist fight the Texas power grid.
Oh, I would love to fist fight the Texas power grid.
Join me. A crusade.
Yeah.
I think, well, you could join B. You probably don't need to.
No, I know I don't
think
need
like
to.
one good punch, one good stare from B, just the power grid's off forever.
I'll sneeze wrong and the power grid will die.
Yeah. But why give it the mercy of a clean death like that when I could drop kick its goddamn head in?
Because
so right.
the air that generates from the drop kick would have already killed it, so you'll miss.
I suppose that's fair. Crush it like a grape. I'll just fuck up its corpse real bad. Anyway, we head back to the Institute where we watch Enokita continuing to be very hands-on with the research in these holy shit evil bullets. And we are able to successfully get evil bullets that work. Hooray, we did it, I guess.
It's great when we do it.
I love
Our
when
bullets
we do
explode so good. Oh, my life is in fucking shambles.
Yeah, really.
It's like
that is
truly
basically
immediately how it goes, yeah. I cannot celebrate this. My life is fucking a joker. We're done. My son is at rock bottom at 5 years old.
Poor Enokita, poor Sarah. I hope that you two will be able to work it out.
But look who's to the rescue.
Tell me who.
It's Sean Whiteman.
It is? But that's for later. First, we should go to the hospital.
Oh.
We got to check on Godai. He did kind of get his ass handed to him pretty bad.
God. I love this sequence, if only because of my active thoughts, or like, my stream of consciousness watching it. In that they go through this whole thing, and how Yusuke is like, he's healing up fine in the hospital, but he's still out. And I wrote down Yusuke faking sick so he can get that sweet electricity. And immediately upon episode 46 starting, they reveal that he indeed was literally faking sick so he stopped his own heart so he could get that sweet electricity.
He was like, give me the juice.
He played the long game. He knew.
Insane.
He got a scrape on his knee and was like, I can milk this.
I need Vicodin.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't go into work today. I fell over, and now my knee is slightly bruised. You know how it goes.
You know how it goes.
I expect full payment still, though.
Well, for the day. I hope Enokita gets 5 years of paid leave.
Right?
Yeah, she earned it.
For this year alone.
Yeah,
that girl's been
she's
pulling
absolutely earned it.
Quintuple overtime.
God, yeah. I'm amazed. That's how you know this show isn't realistic, because there isn't someone who, every time they see Enokita doing an overnighter at the Institute, being like, no, get out of here. We're not paying you this much overtime. Get the fuck out. Take your leave. Get out of here. Clock out. Clock out right the fuck now, or else.
Yeah, the government task force isn't thinking that. And I don't know.
To be fair,
a lot of
Enokita's
industries.
salary.
I mean, yeah, that's like the thing, right? It's like, Japan is not a stranger to this. Actually, they don't shoo them away if there's a big project that they're demanding the people work on. They sleep under their desks.
Yeah,
if at all.
Japan does encourage the bad work-life balance, unfortunately.
At least
Not
historically.
that I guess, the US's work-life balance is any better, but at least if you start costing the company too much money, they'll kick you out.
That's definitely better.
Or they don't pay you overtime.
Yeah, they find ways not to.
Yeah.
I'm so...
In any case.
I just got more mad at my work. I can't.
That's so fair. We should let's change our emotional spectrum from mad to sad, as we get to look at a contemplative Enokita sitting at the cafeteria of the Research Institute, trying to figure out what went wrong with her life. When in walks our knight in shining armor, gallant with his beautiful long brown hair and majestic white horse. There he is, John Whiteman.
The crowd cheers.
Yeah. He is here to rescue Fairy-on MILF.
She's so flabbergasted too. It's like it is truly like he came from the sky.
A little bit.
This man's timing is immaculate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. He did a good job. Shot his shot at a supremely good moment. We unfortunately don't get to do this full conversation yet, but you better believe we're going to be doing this conversation next episode. And it's going to be good, and it's going to be really emotional. And also there's a scene right before we cut away from Enokita and John Whiteman where Enokita looks like she's going to start crying.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It hurt me real bad because I don't want to see Enokita cry.
It's true.
It
either.
brings me great pain to relate to all of these characters and their existential trauma.
It's the worst, but it's the best.
Yeah.
You know how something sucks, but in a good way? It's like that.
But not like that.
Yeah, but not quite like that. We hop on back to the hospital where Tsubaki and Sakurako are continuing to have their conversation about, like, please electrocute Godai, which, to Shakes' point, I think Godai is subconsciously listening in on this conversation, because, like, 2 seconds after Tsubaki is like, maybe I should be overdoing it as much as I can as well, motherfucker starts flatlining.
He stops his own heart. He literally
he turns his shit off.
Now you're gonna fucking have to, idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, give me this shit.
He literally heard him resign to, like, being willing to electrocute him, and it was like, alright, let's get it. Beep.
I'm giving you the excuse.
Yeah, come give me the juice. Which I do love. Right before he does it, fucking Tsubaki just stares Godai down and is like, alright, let's see how strong you become this time, motherfucker. You got insanely powerful when I juiced you last time. Let's see what round 2 does to you.
Give me the juice, Doc.
And boy, you see what round 2 does to him. In our next
round 2 does
episode.
to a motherfucker.
Yeah. You see the results of round 2 in our next and final episode, Indomitable, episode 46. The original air date December 31st, 2000. Fucking New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year.
What a
Happy
good
New
way to
Year.
spend
Yeah.
their New Year's with an episode of Kamen Rider.
And they talk about it. They really are keeping real time, because I do remember in a previous episode, what's her face, Nana. She
gets
was
a
talking
postcard
about-
from home.
Had spent a New Year's at home, and frankly, there has never been a better time to not be in Tokyo. So I think it's a great opportunity to just peace out while this last shit goes down.
There has truly never been a better time to not be in Tokyo.
It's incredible
Unfortunately.
how wild it is that she is even still here. I understand she's chasing her dreams, she's trying to be strong. But God, I would have just been like, I'm going back home if my parents lived outside of Tokyo, I'd have been, I'm going back home for a year till this blows over, or we all die.
I'll come back when you guys tell me you don't have mass murderers.
Yeah, like, okay, but in that context, would your parents not be like, hey, can you not be in Tokyo? Because
right?
97 people died today.
I feel like Nana's parents have tried to get her to come home multiple times. Actually,
specifically, what does happen in the context of the show is she's sent a letter at one point where she is told, "Hey, just so you know, you can come back like whenever you want. It's cool.
Please." Actually,
yeah. I want to go over the wiki synopsis just specifically because I really appreciate how it words something.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Sakurako convinces Tsubaki to do another upgrade for Yusuke to solidify his power and handle Gado, while Jean assists Enokita in trying to handle her connection with her son.
That's funny.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wrong.
The
but it's...
dual themes handling it.
Another dual themes.
I have a note here
Hit me with it.
for the upcoming conversation with them. That was just, you are so in, Mr. Whiteman.
He is so in.
But I suppose we should.
Yeah, we start the episode with basically Tsubaki telling us what we told you about last episode. Tsubaki's like, so yeah, he turned his heart off so he could make me turn it back on.
Mm-hmm.
What a douche.
Yeah.
There goes Yusuke Godai.
And he's like, tee-hee.
Yeah.
Thank you, tee-hee.
Tee-hee. Thank you for saving my life, Mr. Tsubaki. Tee-hee-hee.
Twirls hair.
Yeah.
Does that anime girl knock on the head?
Yeah.
I did that recently.
Incredibly powerful. Godai, goddamn. You're a hell of a dude. So yeah, Tsubaki and Sakuraka are kind of talking about, having to juice Godai back up in order to get him running again. And we head back over to check out what Ichijo has been doing, because Ichijo, as you may recall, has been hot on the trail of Ninja Council. So
Yeah.
he is currently infiltrating Central Arena, trying to figure out, hey, where is Ninja Council? What's he doing? What's going on with the Grongi? And he finds that out very quickly, in that he sees Ninja Council and Prince Grongi in their monster forms fucking fighting each other. And
The girls are
Yeah,
fighting.
Yeah.
fighting. What?
very correctly, he sees that peeking around the corner and goes, I should probably leave.
and then, man, I forgot what she's called at all. But
I've just been calling her Rose
B1.
Lady.
I was gonna say, yeah,
B-
Rose. Yeah, B1. B1's like
Wait, is it B1 or B9?
no. B9
She's
is
B1.
is
B9 is
Ninja
Ninja Council.
Yeah,
Oh. Whoops.
B1's just like, y'all smell bacon.
Sweet. It's that fucking one cop again. How can you tell? Oh, I can tell.
Oh, I know.
Smells a little bit like Kuuga, weirdly. I still don't understand what that's about.
Yeah, all over him.
Yeah, really.
You'll understand when you're less dense of a person.
Wow.
Fucking actually looking at Rose Woman and being like, I'll tell you when you're old.
No.
But when you're old!
Less dense as a person.
Yeah, maybe become less problematic and you'll figure it out.
If you were simply less stupid, you would understand.
Damn. We jump over to back to the Institute where Jean Whiteman and Okita are having a little heart-to-heart. By which I mean, let's kind of be honest, Okita is sort of trauma dumping on John. Just a little bit.
I feel like this doesn't qualify for trauma dumping.
I guess
Right.
that's fair. But I do like that John, very strategically, I will say, takes a back seat for a large majority of this conversation. He gives Enochita a chance to kind of just let it out.
Well, yeah, because,
As he should.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's letting her vent and caring for her in a normal, healthy way.
He's hit the Act 3 flag for her romance.
So true.
And also that.
God,
yes.
John, just like you go like just into John's head, and it's just his vision, and it's just a visual.
Yeah.
That's just how he's been
I've
living
done it.
his
Oh my
whole
God.
life.
It's good. It's a good scene.
It is a very good scene.
This scene is good, and like I think it's interesting because Enokita is more or less kind of saying stuff that he has said a little bit to her as is.
Mm.
She's really just like confronting everything, and it's like I think it's the true notion of it is that she has always kind of known. Like
Mhm.
it's definitely gives me the vibe of something. It's like I've always been aware, but I've always been trying to always approach it from a practical side. The practical side of my existence is that I'm doing something very important. And like, but now it's all coming back on her emotionally. It's finally just really hitting her, and John does not take any of this moment to like reinforce that, and instead just sort of actively goes at her own defense.
That's kind of why I really like this scene, though, because like I've been in an emotional situation similar where it's just like, hey, I need to just scream at everything, and then the person listening is like, yeah, it's okay, but also and like they might have been hinting at that kind of stuff, but then they're like, hey, I am here for you, and I'm not going to judge you about it. I'm going to do what I can to actually help you and tell you that there is still ways around this, even though you're in this really dark place. And it's so nice.
This is a very good. This is maybe one of the better bits just in all of Kuuga. The kind of resolution of Enokita's arc, which a not insignificant portion of this episode is dedicated to, is just so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And we will certainly talk about it more as we continue. But we got to go back to the hospital. Yusuke's up, and he has the fucking audacity to good morning us. 3:40 p.m. Turned off his own goddamn heart. Yeah. Good morning. Don't you fucking good morning me.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Slap you back into coma.
Yeah.
I support people saying good morning at any hour of the day.
This
isn't
about the
it's
hour.
Not about the
this
hour.
Isn't.
It's the attitude.
Godai, your in-bed manner is atrocious.
He is waking up like he's a goddamn Disney princess in the hospital.
He fucking is.
Ask him when breakfast is.
Yeah, seriously.
Did you give me the juice?
You missed it because you were in a coma.
That you made.
Yeah, that is actively your fault, actually, at this point. You healed really fast. You just stopped your heart for no reason.
Just turned it off. I do like that counter to Shakes' statement, and I was going to mention this just because it's kind of a cool showing of the advancement of Godai as Kuuga. He gets up, and he kind of just he spends like a half a second to take stock of himself, and is like, "Oh, you did the shock. Cool, thanks." And they're like, "How do you know we did the shock? You were dead? Your heart was stopped?" And he was like, I just kind of, I got this internal surge. I think I'm going to be able to gold for longer. Hey, thanks for that, by the way. I really appreciate it, y'all. Which
ADHD meds be like.
Yeah, really. But it's because you think about the first shock and how long it even took him to go gold the first time. That was an arc that took a couple of episodes, and we had to go over. He was having those headaches when he was transforming and all of that, and the first set of gold transformations was kind of an ongoing process that sort of had to slowly be drip fed to him as he got more used to it. And this time it's just, he's up, you did the shock, I can tell I can do gold stronger, let's go. And he's just out the door, and it really kind of shows that he is, which I guess maybe really in hindsight is kind of a scary sentiment. But it really shows how well he's kind of fused and connected with the belt and the Adamant stone inside of him. His kind of awareness of himself as a warrior is so much greater now than it used to be. His mastery of Kuuga as a skill, as it were, is so much significantly greater than it was, even just halfway through the show versus at the beginning, which is it's cool and it's good in that we love to see the growth of our hero, and we love to see them getting stronger and becoming more skilled and everything. But like in hindsight, when you think about it, it is also a lot scarier in kind of what Tsubaki was worrying about way back when he first examined Godai, of like,
Mm-hmm.
this thing is like slowly but surely turning you into a human weapon. You are starting to become more blade than person, and now he's helping sharpen and polish the blade. That's, when you think about it from Tsubaki's standpoint, that's kind of got to be a little rough, huh?
Maybe just a
Yeah.
touch.
But this blade is our only weapon against, I should say our best weapon against the thing that is killing thousands of people.
Killing
Which-
people on the literal thousands.
I think it also, I mentioned this a little bit, but now that we've gotten to this particular point, I can mention that it's kind of like with both Tsubaki and Sakurako,
Mm-hmm.
it's showing how far they've come from, like, not necessarily just trusting Godai in that deepening relationship, but also just, hey, this kind of goes against both of their morals, both things that they did not want. They are actively helping because they kind of are backed up against a wall, they feel. And, like, I think that's super fascinating because it kind of plays back into the themes that Anakita's plotline is going through, of just, she's making weapons. She's not happy with them,
Not
as we've
thrilled.
discussed. And also, like, hey, it's, against her morals to do as much damage as she's doing or perceiving to be done to her child. And so there's this interesting sort of, like, an uncommon cynicism from this because of how, like, it's a kid's show. It's just like, well, sometimes you gotta take the option that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But it never really goes full into it. And it's really interesting to see how they balance all of that with, stuff like hope, where, like, Godai's whole thing is just, you'll probably be fine as long as you are fine, kind of deal.
Mm.
And that's on a physical level for Godai, but on a mental level, that is really what all our characters have to go through, because it's just, even if you're sacrificing some things and some ideals that you have, as long as you can persevere and, like, still be the person that you are and, like, have love in your heart kind of thing, you can still push forward. And I just, man, that message kind of hits sometimes really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
The growth of our characters in this show is so interesting, especially kind of just, I think, looking at our characters from where they start to where they end up. Because, like, obviously there are the hints of who they were at the beginning of the show. Those are still very clearly there. But there's also, like, there's so much clear difference, there is visible, palpable change to our cast. And it's very unique, and not to beat this particular dead horse again, but it is something that is incredibly to the benefit of Kuuga versus, like, Ichigo, where, we had characters that were kind of the same through the whole show. And I mean, it's not like they weren't enjoyable characters. We had a fun cast, but they weren't, it wasn't a cast that really grew in any sort of way. Even our protagonists, Hongo and Hayato, are kind of largely the same people at the beginning of the show, that they are at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, it actively was averse to change.
Yeah.
There was... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and watching the whole cast of Kuuga, really, I think that's kind of the coolest thing, is it isn't just, our principal cast. It isn't just, like, Godai and Ichijo and, like, Sakurako. It's Shibaki and Jean and Akita and Sugita and the other members of the police force. Every character, even characters that we thought were only going to show up for like one episode incidentally, like the fucking Grongi fanboy guy, these are people who we have watched grow and change over time.
Yeah, I think like most of this podcast episode has been, hey, did you know Kuuga is good? But I think the reason for that is because we've seen this potential build up, and now it is quickly, for the most part, being paid off pretty well.
Yeah.
And it does so with without making it makes each character feel like more of another character rather than a character who happens to be in the show. Like, and so there's that emotional weight that's really kind of wrapping up and like, or bubbling up to this like height of whatever finale will be in this series, and just it's so nice to see.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. This is I'm glad that we ended up choosing Kuuga, honestly. In hindsight. I mean, not that I think any of the other choices would have been, any worse. But this is Kuuga is a very special show. I think this fact that it was specifically a reboot of Kamen Rider after such a long time too has a lot to do with that. And I don't know, it's after a while it's hard to explain beyond just like, damn, the show's really good, but the show's really good.
Well,
we've become that meme of like the person speaking and their brain just has all these well-articulated, really long post thoughts, and the words that come out every time are Kuuga good.
So, like, Kuuga good. Speaking of which, I literally just lost what I was gonna say. I'm sure it had, such beautiful, significant depth to add to the podcast.
Where were we?
Kuuga good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's where we'll
really
have to go
got to
back.
get
Godai
back at
woke
it. So Godai heads out. He's he gets the call to head to Central Arena, because that's where our ULFs are currently fighting.
In the Central Arena, brother, in front of Zero screaming Hulkamaniacs.
Yeah. Zero screaming Birdamaniacs.
Empty arena bout between the Ninja Council and Prince Karangi.
Hell yeah, I love cinematic matches. This is gonna be better than the final deletion.
It's cool. It's just a pre-recorded thing. It's a stadium stampede because they're going all around.
Yeah, basically.
Doing spots on the concrete and shit.
Yeah. Love to do concrete spots.
Birdman's gonna get injured doing a senton of a giant ladder onto a table.
Man's gonna fucking
old ass idiot.
Yeah, bro, you are 50 years old. What the fuck are you doing? Senton off of the ladder into the table. At your age? I think not. We get a brief moment at the arena where we see that Ichijo is joined by Sugita, and Bread Cop is gonna just have to be his name now. Sorry about that.
Bread Cop. You deserve better than us.
I'm so sorry, Bread Cop. You do deserve better. I legitimately am so upset that I can't remember his fucking name, but I cannot.
Is it Sakurai?
Is it Sakurai?
I think it might be Sakurai.
It might be Sakurai. It is Sakurai. Thank you.
Hey.
There we go. Sakurai. Yeah.
Bread Cop. Parentheses Sakurai.
Because Kageyama is the cop from Ichijo's old station. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I had that
original
name.
side cop.
Yeah. Godai's first boyfriend, or Ichijo's first boyfriend.
Sorry.
Rip. We have a bit where we go to Pol. We're talking with Minori and Nana and Pops, and we find out that the person who took the picture that Pops was staring at so longly a few episodes ago was actually taken by Minori and Godai's father, who was sort of like a mentor to Pops, and we finally get to learn a little bit more about Godai and Minori's family, which we haven't learned about them since like. Is it the first episode with Godai's old teacher where he talks to Ichijo about his mother dying?
I think his dad, but yeah.
I know, yeah, there's that one car I can't remember what episode it was. They have that
Yeah,
little car
that
It's
one.
after that. They just
I
tell
think
each
it was,
other
like-
their sad backstories nonchalantly in a car
That's how
ride.
it is.
Whatever episode was teacher. I think it's like 9 or something like that, but
It's the one.
Okay, yeah.
In any case.
Yeah, in any case, first time learning more about their family in a long time. And so we find out that their father was a war photographer who would kind of go around, the world throughout the year, taking photographs of sort of different war areas. And what he would do in order to kind of try and help stave off the loneliness of him being gone all the time was once every 2 weeks he would send them a letter from wherever he was, to tell them about, where he's been, what he's seen, all of the cool, unique, stuff that he's gotten to experience that he would try to kind of bring back for him. And, kind of an important line, I would say, Minori mentions how he would always end every episode with, "So that one day everyone can smile." Which has, if you will recall, that is kind of the crux of Godai's whole. It is the starting point through which Godai has operated his entire life, from learning 2,000 skills to becoming Kuuga to resigning himself to fighting all over the Gronki. Like every single bit of Godai has been formed around that one sentiment of I want to help make people smile, and to find out that is a sentiment that is explicitly given to him by his his father, and his travels around the world doing war photography, I think it's a cool little wrinkle of backstory that they could have very easily just not put in, It would have been very easy for them to just be like, why does Godai want to make everybody smile? That's just kind of the guy he is, they could have even just related it to, when his mother passed away and the way he and his sister felt, back then, and, his kind of knowledge and acceptance at a young age of like, sometimes these tragedies happen to people, and I want to be able to help them get through that, and I want to do what I can to make sure I can make as many people smile as often as they can. It would have been pretty easy to kind of hand wave away this part of his character, but the fact that they take the extra mile to give an explicit basis point for that part of his personality and have that tie into his other parent, I thought was a cool, interesting little bit of storytelling.
Mm-hmm. I'm also just a big sucker for the someone taking a phrase and being like, I'm gonna make this is becoming really important to me, and because that's happened to me a few times where I'm just like, hey, I can say this, I can do these callbacks for people, and I don't know, probably not as emotional for the other person, but at least for me, it's incredibly emotional when I do.
Yeah.
Oh.
I, for one, love Macross Delta.
Love Macross Delta.
Everybody, once you're done watching Kuuga, go check out Macross Delta.
Okay.
Go watch all of Macross.
Yeah.
I swear most of it is
Especially 7.
I gotta
watch all of 7, every single episode, and the OVA series.
Yeah.
I have
You'll
to
be
finish watching bad
satisfied.
shows first.
Oh, don't worry.
Wait, I thought you
Those
said they're.
Geki love heart.
I thought you said they're all good.
Smiles.
Whatever Macross 7 is, I need to watch the opposite of that first. I have many shows on my list that are the opposite of Macross 7.
Oh, something good?
The opposite. The opposite of Macross 7.
Is Kamen Rider Kuuga.
Frontier or Delta.
All right, full
Kamen Rider
points.
Kuuga, the opposite of Macross 7.
That's a hell of a concept. I don't know if we're qualified to make that judgment call.
I am.
I
There we
think-
go.
All right, well,
What's your judgment call? Is that a yes?
I don't know. They share actually very similar themes, I think.
Well, I
So
guess
there
we
you
can't
go.
use it as the video title anymore.
That said, I think 7 is a little hard on the pacifism, in which I think Kuuga is a little more nuanced.
Mhm.
But also 7 comes from the 90s.
yeah.
This is true.
We were a little... there was a little bit of ignorance happening. I think there was a little idealism happening in the 90s. And the new millennium hit several countries like a truck.
Yeah.
I will not be mad about idealism when it comes to pacifism. But I don't think they
No,
handled
I don't
it
think they did that one
Macross
real
7.
good at all.
This is no Undertale.
This is no
R.I.P. Macross.
original Star Trek.
Is Undertale the Dark Souls of Macross? Let's find out with the rest of this episode of Kamen Rider Kuuga.
Yeah. Which
Oh, that segue hurt very badly.
Yeah.
yeah, it
You're
hurt
welcome.
almost as bad as
I'm
my heart hurt listening to
coughing up
Enokita
blood.
talk about her problems with trying to be a good mother and a dutiful researcher.
Cries, screams,
no,
throws up.
yeah,
John Whiteman's
This
got to
is-
give her a ride home on his fucking hog.
You
Please don't say it like that.
son of a bitch. Railroading over this is a wonderful section. And I know you skipped it just so you could say that.
Get your motor running.
You fuck.
Alright,
Get
I
on
remove
the
the points
highway.
I've given to Shakes.
I don't need him.
Segue
Everyone
number
Boo
3.
this woman.
Starto.
So yes, this is a very good part of the Enokita arc because it kind of it goes a little bit from her just kind of talking about what's going on to a little bit of maybe kind of self-destructive pragmaticism, where she's kind of trying to, I guess, subtly sort of weigh her options. She kind of she comes to this conclusion that like anything she says to try and justify going to work as opposed to spending time with Sayuru is kind of sort of just an excuse, but like at the end of the day there's maybe not anything that she can do. She mentions like, I suppose I could quit my job, but that's probably not the smartest financial decision for one to make. And this is where John finally kind of speaks his piece, because kind of throughout this whole thing Enokita's sort of kind of been putting herself down and her abilities as a mother and as a caregiver, and finally John kind of he steps in, he finally speaks up, and he's like, did Sayuru ever actually say that you're a terrible mom? Did Sayuru ever actually say that he hates you, or that you're no good? And we finally get our little glimpse into Jean's backstory, which as much as they have kind of allowed us to surmise this ourselves, we now get to learn through actual text, through Jean speaking, that he was in the same position that Sayuru was in as a child. His parents were never really home. they were always busy, but he admits, kind of as someone who's been on that side of the issue, as much as he would miss his parents and as much as he wanted them to be there, he never had the thought of oh, I hate these people, or they're bad parents. He never harbored any resent for his parents. It was just kind of that sadness and that loneliness from them not being there, which is kind of an important part to helping kind of Enokita figure out what she needs to do in order to help Tsaru, which we will get to in just a brief moment, because we do still have some monsters we got to fight.
Oh yeah,
and fight them we will, because like we said last episode, the fucked up evil nerve bullets have been completed, and they are delivered to our cops on the scene. So we are gonna go and we're gonna try and murder some monsters. The monsters, of course, getting tipped off because, as Shakes mentioned, old Rose Woman done smoked some bacon. So Ninja Council flies off and is chased after by Sugita and God damn it,
Sakurai.
Yes, thank you, Sugita and Sakurai. And Ichijo's like, I'm gonna go in the building and I'm gonna handle Grungy Prince, and where we get to start setting up that fight. I like that we make a point to check in on the other things, but we still give the majority of the time for this episode to Enokita. So we do hop back to Enokita and Jean talking to each other, and this is the part where Jean kind of finally gets to take the lead in this conversation, and kind of be encouraging to her, and kind of convey to her that, like, if you care about your son as much as it seems like you care about your son, and if you are the same, Jean Whiteman shooting his shot here, calling her by her first name, Hikari.
Once again,
he's like, if you're the same Hikari that I know, who is so smart and strong
and pretty,
and yeah, and so persevering,
such a dazzling smile.
Yeah. Hair is really pretty and shiny. Yeah. What?
What?
You'll be able to find a way to make this work. And Enokita is able to gain some resolve, and she's like, you know what, you're right. I can find a way to make this work. I maybe can't do everything, but I can, again, coming back to this theme that we established like 2 episodes. I maybe can't do everything, but I can do the most that I can. I can overdo it as much as I can to try and, be useful to the world and also still be a good parent to my child. And so, yeah, Enokita's like, hey, John, can you give me a ride somewhere? And he's like, yeah, all right. I'll he's like, yeah, I'll ride you anywhere. I what? Huh?
Jesus Christ.
And
I'm sitting over here being like, this is actually a really emotional scene. I can understand that people want to you want to use your emotional closeness with someone to tell them, to understand that you're talking to them, and not just as if you were talking to another person. And then Fats is over here like, yeah, sex with Anakita.
yeah.
Just brother.
Just Shakes and Fats have the what's it, the Winnie the Pooh pit bull thing playing in the back of their head.
Your boyfriend.
We at the hotel, motel, holiday Inn.
I'm thinking about that constantly, but it's because I love Pooh.
I mean, how can you not love that fucking video? I could watch Pooh Gangnam Style for years.
Yeah, no,
I have watched that whole thing before. A 10-hour loop that I've been sent.
Yeah, no, that's...
Or was it 5 hours? I couldn't
understandable.
remember. It was a blur.
It was 10 hours, I think.
powerful.
Okay.
I specifically, I really like the way that this scene ends, because she's like, "Oh, can you give me?" Okay, hold on, wait. First, I got to remember, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. Enoki, they've been having this conversation in Japanese, obviously, because this is a Japanese show for Japanese people made in Japan, with the Japanese actors. And Enokida asks John, "Can you give me a ride somewhere?" And his exact response is, "Yeah, sure, okay." No, I'm sorry, of course, yeah, sure. Just in perfect, super casual English.
Which
That shit hit me like a fucking truck.
I know this isn't really the established thing for John, but I find that so charming, because it's like, oh, like, there is this emotional connection, but also, like, the reciprocation of that trust is just, like, completely, like, boots his brain back to being just like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Just, like,
women.
no,
native tongue.
no
Of course,
thoughts.
sure, yeah.
Just gonna say like, instead of like thinking in Japanese and then saying it, I'm just thinking in English and saying it there because I have no other thoughts.
Yeah, no thoughts, head empty.
So fun.
But yeah, so there's that bit which I thoroughly enjoy. And then Enokida's like, "Oh, right, there's one more thing." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Do you know what?" And she just kind of like shakes at him. And I feel like maybe the camera was supposed to cut sooner and they didn't for some reason.
Was it not her trying to give a thumbs up?
It doesn't look like it, because like
I think she
She's
just gives the most fucked up thumbs up ever.
Yeah, I think she's failing at this also.
I mean, if she's giving a thumbs up, it is
Yeah.
entirely out of frame.
It sure is. But that's in character.
It wiggles
Like,
back
she's
in.
just-
But yes,
She's just like leaning at him.
she has not successfully
you
done
know.
it yet. You know.
You know.
No, I don't. What the hell are you talking about?
John Wakeman's
Fucking-
brain just like fries for a second.
Yeah.
Smoke
Like, I have
coming out
some
of his
thoughts,
ears.
but I feel like...
I know many things, but I don't know what to think.
So we head back to the central arena where, you know, Ichijo, he's doing cop shit. He gets accosted ever so slightly by Grangi Prince, and in attempting to escape, he seems to be successful in
Because
dispatching him.
the crazy ass pratfall kill shot, he's just
Yeah.
he's sliding backwards downstairs and just hits every single exploding bullet center mass. This man is
Because he's
John
the fucking
Wick.
goat.
He's
the
that's
goat.
literally what I
God,
wrote
you're
down. Pratfall kill shots and you're the fucking goat.
My the goat was when he shot the gun out of the fucking kidnapper dude's hand.
It's
The goat! The goat!
Just before we pan over to Mika, completely traumatized on the side.
yeah,
Yeah.
she witnessed the goat in
goat.
action.
Just fucking some big black dude behind him.
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP!
Goodness.
The goat.
I fucking love that video so much. That man is going insane!
I don't know.
Like, it's so powerful.
I'm so glad that it's become basically like a reaction
Yeah.
to every other thing I've ever seen happen in anything.
Yeah.
People will throw that
It
shit
is-
on if the if the
It
goat's
is
on.
my fucking favorite reaction. I love to use that to react to things. It's so fucking good. But yeah, fucking Grunky Prince, he gets hit by the evil fucked up bullets. I put this in my notes as Grunky Prince like Idris Elba.mov talking about the fucking hot ones.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
what the fuck?
Oh. Also a good reaction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Idris Elba, for dying on Hot Ones in an iconic way.
Yeah, I mean, because you gotta imagine, that's probably what it was like. Like, these bullets usually don't even fucking pierce, and then all three of these went in him and then exploded twice.
Oh, yeah, like, super effective. Thank you, Enokita, for, I guess, getting this done Well, you skipped the parent-teacher meeting?
Yeah. Like,
Can't say it was not a
sincerely made good
productive. Yeah.
progress.
can't say it wasn't
Yeah.
productive. As difficult as it was to do, and as bad as it was to say, it was certainly
Just-
worth the time spent.
Earning her keep. This is why
Yeah.
they call her in. So, like, yeah, kind of fucked up.
Especially-
though. Hope you don't have
especially-
to ever do that again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like we shouldn't, because they were definitely effective. We get to watch Sugita and Sakurai kill. They straight up murk Ninja Council.
Yeah,
He's just down.
they
They
chase
get
him
his
all the way
ass.
down to the river, and he just gets destroyed.
Yeah, I can only assume that the only reason Grungy Prince survived is because him gold now.
Yeah, he's built different. That other guy is old.
Yeah, this is so true.
He's just old ass, bird ass. He's got hollow bones.
So true.
He de-transformed and made sure to die as dramatically as possible.
He really did. Good for him.
As his organs liquefied.
Probably, yeah. Goddamn. But yeah, so Grungy Prince gets back up and he attacks Ichijo, and things are looking kind of rough when to the scene rides our hero, Yusuke Godai. He's here. He's back. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do the fight. He transforms and in order to show off that he's cool and powerful and badass and based as hell now, he just goes straight to red gold. Which, like, Ichijo sees that and he's
Powerful.
like, whoa, that's, hello? You good? And,
Yeah, I'm
Godai's
fine,
just
why?
like, yeah, I'm going to be able to use the gold form for longer. Don't worry, I got this guy. And he's like, all right.
We also get a bike dynamic entry, which we haven't had in a while. It was
Yeah.
quite nostalgic. Just wheelies right into his face.
Yeah. Hits him right with the fucking tire.
It's
You'll love
always
to see it.
good.
Also, yes, as Shakes mentioned, we learned that secretly the entire time, John Whiteman has been our writer too. As he gives Enokita a ride back to her house on his aptly named hog.
It is truly the hog.
Yeah.
He's Harley Davidson to that shit.
Keep the motor revving.
Yeah, he's born
Running
to be
down the
wild.
highway.
If you're going to have a white motorcyclist in your Japanese show, you should.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, I mean, really. What else would you possibly use? We should finish this fight. Because
Yes.
the way this fight ends is just fucking insane.
Perfectly symmetrical nukes.
Yeah. So yeah, we go out to one of the many. I actually had a note about this. Apparently, the cops have set up multiple staging areas for Godai to take Grangi so he can blow them up, which is so
such
fucking
good
wild.
planning on
Yeah,
their-
Yeah, please head to the
Amazing planning,
appointed
but
combat
also-
zone.
yeah. Please
Okay.
head to the appointed. There's nothing here that will be damaged within 3 miles if you drop a nuke here. So
I kind of spaced out of this because, boy, the transition from going from stadium to forest is just like, wait, what?
yeah, we get there.
And then they got there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Listen, sometimes you just have to get there. Godai dances himself up to do the gold rider kick, and something interesting and new happens as him turn
He
black.
turns into Kamen Rider Black. Wait,
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
no, wait, hold
No, not that
on.
one.
no, sorry.
No, not that one either.
Yeah,
Oh shit, we're gonna be here a while.
Not that one either. Yeah, no.
How many of you motherfuckers are black? What's going on?
Yo, Black Kuuga. Yo, Black Kamen Rider. Damn.
But yes, he turns black. Grungy Prince goes into his gold mode. It's time for us to joust nuclear bombs. We fucking both kick each other square in the chest. We're laying on the ground for a bit. Grungy Prince begins to bring himself to his feet first, and you think, oh no, was black not enough? Was he not strong enough? And then we notice that he fucking has not one, but two. Count them, two of
Footprints.
two footprints in his chest.
You
know this man is
kicked
about to go up.
in your chest. What's good, Grongi?
Oh yeah,
What's
you were talking
real
about that
good?
shit. You were talking about that good shit a second ago. You got kicked in your chest. And then he explodes. And the reason why I say this like this is I need to paint you a picture, dear viewer. We have had many explosions on this show so far of varying levels of destructiveness. And it would be very safe to assume that when we started doing 3-mile wide nuclear dome explosions, that was probably the most wild the power was going to escalate. Except that Grongi Prince turns in to a literal fucking pillar of fire.
Right?
That is so tall that Ichijo is able to see it from the arena.
It is downright biblical.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like a fucking orbital cannon was shot in that specific area.
It is Final
Like-
Fantasy II Ultima.
God, yeah. It's fucking insane.
Yeah. I was just like, Jesus Christ, because it's just like we're gonna get to the ULF 0 and it's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna explode and it's gonna explode into a giant cross because apparently it turned into Evangelion somehow.
Yeah.
But
The moment you're over the 2 footprints, you have to stand in awe of this just this apocalyptic scene.
Yeah.
Golly,
Even if
it's almost like we've seen this before.
Hmm.
That's some
Things
nice
to
black
consider.
armor you have there, Yusuke.
Yeah. Sounds like this black armor pretty goddamn strong. Looks like getting zip zapped was in fact the right play. So good on you. Shall we go resolve Enokida's arc?
yeah, let's cry
Sure.
one more time.
Let's cry one more time. So Jean gets Enokida to her apartment, and she hurriedly rushes up so she can finally make an impassioned, heartfelt plea to her son. Shit, boy, I die. This bit. This fucking bit is wonderful because it's just Enokida fucking rushing into her home and essentially like pouring out her heart to her son to say like, I'm sorry that this keeps happening and I'm sorry that I keep breaking these promises, but like I care about you and I want to try and do the best I can for you. I want to try and be the best mom for you that I can be. And I know I'm not going to be able to start doing that for a while yet, while, these, things are still crazy at work. But when I can do it, I'm going to do it as much as I can, as hard as I can. She talks about, like, maybe I won't be able to make you the best snacks like so-and-so's mom. And, maybe I won't be able to take you out to the amusement park like so-and-so's mom, but I'm going to find something that I can do and that only I can do. And I'm going to do the best at it that I possibly can because I care about you and I love you. And Sairu, who has, through these ongoing episodes, he has locked himself sequestered in Enokida's room. Finally, for the first time all day, peeks out just a little bit. We see just the door moves just a bit, and we just kind of watch these tiny little fingers curl around and shift the door frame over a little bit. and Akita gets to open the door and see Sayaru there, and they get to share a hug, and god damn this scene.
It's ow.
I really like how her sort of resolution to do better took the form that it did. I feel like a lot of other things would say, yes, I'm just going to quit my job the moment I can, and I'm going to be with you. But her resolution, her promise to her son was more along the lines of, I work so hard at my job, but you deserve for me to work just as hard for you, so that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which, as I was watching it, I'm like, you know what? When we first met Anokita and we first got this kind of art going, I believe you pretty much were like, hey, I think Anokita should just do this because it would be like difficult in the short term, but much like easier in the long term. Just like stop promising him stuff you're gonna break. And it's just like, oh, like, and then it just does that, and it's so narratively satisfying and like painfully realistic in its sort of, this is not going to fix things, but I'm going to try my best. And it's just
It also it occurs to me, I didn't even think about this when I was watching the episode, but it shows a lot of growth towards Enokita as well, because earlier in the show we have that bit where she kind of laughs off the fact that she spent so much time working on her work at the institute instead of the relationships she had with the people that she loved, that her husband left her, which means there probably was not ever at any point this same kind of resolution of like, I'm going to work just as hard at being a wife and a mother as I do at my job. And to see her go from kind of sort of laughing that separation off to making this impassioned, heartfelt plea to promise to be in her son's life no matter what is very, very powerful and wonderful.
Yeah, I truly believe she was using it to mask how upset she was about all of it. I don't believe for a second that she's not wanting to put in the work for them. I think she's just frightened of the state that it's come to be in. Like, she's just she had been so resigned to the idea that things were too far gone and that she was too much of a failure to ever even try to fix it.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, here, more Nona is sad time. It's like, having been in those places, it is to see that inner strength and that motivation be brought out by someone who genuinely cares about her is just, it makes me cry.
You're a good man, John. I hope you become a stepfather in the coming years.
I love that the scene ends with him just, smiling outside the door, nodding knowingly, and, he knows his work is done and he ascends back to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
I had a note that was exactly like that. My next notes were... My notes were, my work here is done. And then John vanished from the plot in a puff of smoke. On to the next MILF neglecting her child.
See?
He's an angel. A god.
I must have been sappy tonight because I once again was sappy with the notes of just like, it's so incredibly touching to see Jean stand there because like, yeah, she does love Anokita. Or he does love Anokita. But like also because there's like personal stakes that are felt because he sees himself with Anokita's kid of just like, hey, I can relate to this and I'm happy not just for Anokita and that I helped her, but also that she helped you because of that. And there's just this. It warms
the
my
joy
heart.
and the pride of seeing that he was able to intervene in the life of someone who was in a similar situation to him, and he was able to make sure that they didn't lead the same childhood that he did.
That momentary relaxation that face conveyed of just like, you know what? Things are stabilizing and maybe even on the rise. Like, I felt that deep in my soul.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to be better, and that's the important thing.
Maybe it won't even be better, but at least people haven't given up on the fact that it could be. And just, goddamn. I was not prepared for Anakita's arc to invest me so quickly, because like prior to this I was like, oh yeah, it's good. It's sad. But then bam, just instantly I have perished. I am crying and I am invested and I care all of them.
Yeah, they truly did a very, very good job in honestly making us care about everyone. Like,
yeah,
Enokita, obviously they do such a wonderful job with, but like you really come to very much so care about all of our cast. Godai, Sakurako, Ichijo, Tsubaki, Jean, everyone becomes so important to you over the year that this show happens.
There doesn't feel like a character. When we were watching Ichigo, even with like Hongo and Hayato, the biggest character traits that we extrapolate from them were mostly headcanon. But there's no characters that are like, oh, well, if I headcanon them this way, then I like them. It's just like, no, they're well written.
Yeah.
And that's kind of impressive, because no characters are left to just do that. Which is, I don't know if I've ever actually seen in this cohesive and effective of a way. Besides, like,
I was gonna say, there's a lot of television that does that.
Well,
damn, this show is like a TV show.
Okay, what I mean by that
show. Actually made.
What I mean by that, and this is personal bias as well, but there are definitely shows that a lot of shows do the narrative arc stuff. That's nothing revolutionary, but what I'm surprised about is how effective it is emotionally for me to have these payoffs. Because it's usually a much more kind of lukewarm about at least some characters. Where with Kuuga, I'm just like, nah.
Man, what happened to Tsubaki? I'm about to counterpoint this shit. What happened to him? Where did his arc go? What was that whole thing with him and Sakurako? Come on, show, you forgot about it.
Time. No, that's true.
I'm curious if something will come up within the last few episodes,
I was gonna
perhaps.
say, give him some time.
Yeah, all right.
They've both been too worried about Godai.
That's...
It felt like it got a little dropped.
Okay, you know what?
In a way that,
definitely.
John and Enokita was a constant clip, it was always sprinkled in, right? Whereas Sakurako and Tsubaki was a thing that kind of happened and then stopped happening.
Okay, that's actually very fair.
I will.
I stand by my points, but also, yeah.
I also think the situation is a little bit different with specifically Sakurako and Tsubaki and the roles that they have to play in the plot, and also their relationship with Godai. As a result, I think their arcs are a little more kind of centered around Godai. And this seems like something that would probably develop more so post-show. They might, so it might be something where they would make maybe some hints to it continuing to happen in like the second to last or the last episode, and then we can assume that it will be developed more post-show once we're not having to worry about Godai as much. At least that's my thought on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we are almost at the end of this episode, so we should wrap it up.
It's time for what?
Yeah, let's go.
Just kind of 2 quick scenes. We get Godai showing up to show Ichijo that he is A-okay, and that he did in fact survive the apocalyptic pillar of flame that he made in the forest.
Don't worry
and
about it.
we get a conversation between our Rose Woman and Dagova, as well as our first official Dagova face reveal.
Yeah, we finally put the camera a little bit in focus.
Yeah, we finally stopped shooting this man in 199p. We can finally see him with a fair amount of visual clarity.
Cleaned up all the grease off of the lens.
Yeah. So we know who our bad guy is. Our stakes are set. All
It's
of our Grangi are
Jesus.
dead except for Rose Woman and Dagova. We got 1 more fight to do, and we got 3 more episodes to do it in.
It turns out Dagba is some kind of
He's just a little guy.
neat-looking younger man with a soft
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, honestly.
I was
boy.
going to say, I actually
Yeah.
had a note about this. This is a thing that Kamen Rider likes to do that I really appreciate, where they will have some sort of an enemy who is touted to be like this, super evil destroyer man, kill the universe guy extreme, and then they will give them pretty normal, not super distinct human form. They will make them look like someone who could very easily blend into a crowd, and I just think that's very cool. The notion of visualizing ultimate evil as someone kind of no different than you and I on first glance.
Mm. So that is a thing that Kamen Rider does in general, then?
Yeah, there have been
Okay.
a couple of different Kamen Rider villains, and maybe not always the biggest bad, but definitely big bads, and certainly a few times the biggest bad will be just kind of, they won't have that big bad look to them. You'll kind of look at them and you'll be like, oh, that's just a guy.
That's just a little guy. It's just a
Mm.
little
That's
guy.
just a dude. This is just a regular ass
Because-
dude.
Like, throughout Kuuga, and I've brought it up before, but I'm curious of how much Kuuga does that is unique to this, or unique to the series versus, what the tropes are, and that's lack of exposure. And the reason why I wonder that more specifically, or more intensely than I otherwise would, is because, it seems like Shin Kamen Rider takes a lot of notes from Kuuga.
A little bit, yeah.
We have the Godai is going to turn into a biological weapon. Hongo is going to, lose his ability to think due to the anger of the mask. And, even when we had, smaller scenes, when I think Ichijo walked into the stadium to confront one of the Garangi. I'm like, wait a minute, this reminds me of Batman.
No,
and then
that's very fair.
And then there's also why I was curious of if this was a series staple or not, because now there's the almost angelic kind of very elegantly kind of proposed final big bad guy who wants to do something with the whole world and bring an ultimate something together. And that's also kind of what Shin Kamen Rider does. So there is, I think it would make sense for Shin Kamen Rider to pull from Kuuga a lot because of how it's a reboot of, or a sort of a reboot of Kamen Rider, and that was inspired heavily by Ichigo, and then Ichigo obviously is the source material for Shin Kamen Rider, so I'm just like, that feels right to me. If this were, or if they weren't just coincidences, but I'm not sure.
Who could say?
Much to think about later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Something
is
to consider.
Yeah, that is the thing I wanted to bring up. That was not really relevant to these episodes, but just as Kuuga as a whole, it's been interesting to watch in that lens.
It has been. Kuuga has been an interesting watch. I'm glad that y'all seem to have been enjoying it. Y'all being the rest of the podcast. I hope you out there listening have been enjoying it as well, and I hope you're fucking ready. Hold on to your goddamn butts, because next episode we wrap this shit up. We're gonna be all done next episode as we finish with the final 3 episodes of Kamen Rider Kuuga. That is episode 47, Decision, episode 48, Kuuga, and episode 49, Yusuke.
I'm not ready.
Oh, the ending with the character names.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
terrifying.
I'm thrilled and excited. I cannot wait. I hope you're ready. I'm not.
Me either. As the credits were rolling, when we were watching the episodes last night, Tats and I was like, I might have to watch these sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that did come up. I certainly will not blame anyone if they get that itch and they're like, I got to get into these now, because these last 3 episodes are really quite good. 47 in particular, I'm quite fond of. I really do enjoy that episode. And I look forward to talking with y'all about it. In the meantime, that is gonna do it for us tonight. We hope that you enjoyed our ramblings. I hope that you are okay with them being ramblings. We had a lot to say about this particular set of episodes, but you can't say I didn't warn you. All those episodes back, I said the back 9 of Kuuga, pretty goddamn good.
Yeah.
We're so full of feelings.
Yeah. We have many emotions that we wish to share with you.
And I could keep rambling on, but I've got to edit this podcast and people have got to go to sleep, so...
We'll be saving a lot of it for next episode, I think. We'll be
Probably.
including a retrospective, more than likely.
Yeah, goodness.
Goodness.
Terrifying, screaming, crying.
Hey,
Can we get a 4th goodness?
can I just drive something home for y'all? Can I really
Maybe.
just hammer this one in one more time? Because even as I say it like I have to consider it more to be more real. Hey, holy shit, we're almost done with Kuuga, y'all.
Ooh,
This is true.
The final batch of Kuuga.
The final
Episode
batch of
60.
Kuuga, and then we're gonna not watch another one of these shows
Ever again.
Holy shit!
yeah. Like, this is the
No
end.
more Kamen
like,
Rider.
this is the final episode of both Kamen Rider as a series and first time watcher.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I just
Goodness.
damn, wow. It's especially considering too how long Ichigo took.
Right.
It's so wild to be like, oh god, yeah, we're done. We're just about done. We've only got one more episode. But I'm looking forward to it. I am super looking forward to whatever comes next. And we hope that you are as well. I'm personally very excited to get to recording another season of this show. In the meantime, obviously, you know where to find us, but if you want to learn more about where you can find the specific people on this podcast and the things that they do, please stick around, post the episode for a little ad read. I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I hope that you have a good day or night or whenever you're listening to this. I hope you have a good rest of your week. I hope you are prepared for our episode 60, our final episode of Kamen Rider Kuuga. And I hope that you're looking forward to it as much as we are. And as always, remember, if you can't believe in God and you can't believe in Buddha, you can always believe in in Kamen Rider.
Thank you for listening to another episode of A Long-Time Watcher, First-Time Rider. If you enjoyed the podcast and want to help us out a little bit, you can head on over to the Patreon. Everything there is entirely free, but it functions as a tip jar if you like what we do and are able to support us. As for us individually, if you want to check out our random rambles and potential other projects, you can check out our social media links down in the description. And finally, there is an actual play OVA tabletop game, which is currently being run by one of our wonderful editors, Wurtzy. Two of the players are our wonderful co-hosts, Action Shakespeare and B-Drops. If you want to know more, you can head on over to @HarborTales on Twitter. Thank you very much for joining us for this podcast episode once again, and we hope to see you next time, for when we talk about how good Kamen Rider Kuuga is, or if Teddy Graham jokes are getting old and stale, or if they're just as fresh as ever.